Hello everybody, good morning or good afternoon or good evening depending on what time it is for you where you are. Happy Saturday, welcome to the stream. Jinx, thank you for a 35-month resub. Happy Saturday, Hazel, always exciting to catch a live stream. Welcome, glad to have you. Kitty Cat, you want to say hi? You want to sniff my elbow? Hi. Hi. How you doing? Alright, let me see here. Today is weekend, and I've decided that on this particular individual weekend day, Saturday for all leveling. I have Honeyplum here. She's an orc. She's a shaman. She's level 51. I've been leveling her for transmog collecting. We've been getting some white and gray mogs along the way. Also just to have another character to, Parkadu and Dasta. But she is also going to be eligible for Heritage Armor in 1007 in less than 2 weeks. So I'm feeling like I want to get as much Orgrimmar rep as I can naturally while leveling, and then also just kind of get her leveled. I'm gonna try and take her all the way to 70. Not like this morning, maybe this morning. Probably not this morning. I'm gonna see how far we can do. I know time walking is up. I'm probably not gonna do that. I probably should do that. With the tabard, it might even give org rep. Kitty, what if you hung out here for a little while longer? Kitty, I need you. Hi. Havana, thank you for the 22-month resub. Appreciate it. Waiting for the Night Elf Heritage Armor. We're getting down through the list of races that still need it, aren't we? I think that now that humans and orcs are getting them, and all the allied races have them, it's just, what, Night Elf and Undead, and... Is there any and there? Does everybody else have some? Did Draenei have any? I don't think Draenei have anything. Can you do time walking? Is it really 60 plus? I think time walking really is 60 plus. It was correctly brought to my attention yesterday that it mentioned 60 here on the calendar event thing, and I double checked that when I leveled past 50. I do not have a time walking queue available, so I guess that's another reason that I'm not currently leveling in time walking is because I can't. I posted some auctions though. I posted some gear. That'll be something. Do I have a glasses cleaning cloth here? I must. I always do. Well, that's a new one. One. I have like a whole filing cabinet, and the main purpose of it is to store and organize my glasses cleaning paraphernalia. Kira has important places to be, evidently. This morning, I gave her, normally I give her like a big scoop of food in the evening, and she'll have half of it before bed and the rest of it in the morning. And I gave her kind of a smaller scoop last night, so she finished it. And then this morning she was out and she needed her breakfast, and it was, 7-ish. And she looks at her bowl and she goes, meow. And so we got up a little early to make sure she had something, because I definitely underdid it last night. Have not seen you with the shaved head. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. I am pretty self-satisfied. I enjoy calling myself bald. Obviously, I'm not bald. I have a buzz cut. I do understand there's a difference. Not that you were gonna say anything. I'm just saying for the universe. But if I was gonna call myself a baldy, because that's more fun than saying buzzy. Well, is it? Buzzy kind of makes me sound like a bumblebee. I'd say I'm a pretty self-satisfied one. Floyd here now. Mode head. The super mo. Finally lost it finished leveling my 4th BM Hunter to 70, and Hunter isn't even my main. Sometimes I think you can have just like a favorite alt to level. I'm with you. I don't main a Hunter, and I probably never will. I like healing too much, and I've seen firsthand too much of the drama, not drama, but like sorrow, I suppose is the right word, that comes from hunters and raid damage when the hunters die because they cannot live through the said raid damage. First of all, shout out to me. I've got Lightning Shield and Flame Tongue weapon on. I'm looking for spies. There should be somewhere in this zone. They said outside the walls. Should be some kind of a spy. They haven't, to my knowledge, given... There we go. Found one. There we go. Badak531, thank you for the 32-month resub. Good morning. Good morning. Also, Nanny with a 45-month resub. Can't believe another month has passed. Thanks for all the positive content. Sending some chin scratches for Kira. I'll get her today for sure. You saying healing pet is not healing? It's always, how is your pet? Where is your pet? It's never, how is the hunter? I'd say the pet needs to start healing the hunter, but spirit beasts can actually do that. I need to blow up some of these things. I'm doing Southern Barrens questing because I did Durotar, I did Northern Barrens, and this is the next reasonable thing I can think to do that's going to have nearby Orgrimmar rep from questing. Because I can stay out here and keep leveling all the way to 60, so I've got another 9 levels worth. If I run out of stuff here in the Southern Barrens, my next plan was Stone Talon. I'm pretty sure there's lots of Org rep out there. I don't have to finish the Org rep by the time I'm 60. It's just any rep that I get now is a little bit less rep that I have to grind with like a Tabard and the Botanica or whatever when the time comes. So much renown to farm before patch, and I'm panicking slightly. Oh, don't panic. It's gonna be so much easier to farm it after the patch, and there's no real rush. If there's a renown or many of them that you're not finished with yet, you're gonna be able to get more rep while doing new content in 10.07. You can pick an envoy for the day. You can pick a different one every day if you want. You're gonna be able to get a big chunk of extra rep, super easy, along with overflow. Please don't worry about it. You're gonna be great. Big star. Southern Barrens. Southern Barrens? Southern Barrens. Here we go. 250 and another 250, and I left behind a couple quests that are kind of in the north end of the zone because I think those ones are for Tauren, and they have no say in whether or not I get my heritage armor. I mean, a hunter heal too. Hunters are made of paper at the moment. It's been a bit of a theme. I guess I've only really main healed for Shadowlands and now Dragonflight. Like in BFA, I don't know what was going on. Although I have a feeling that hunters were a bit squishy then too. But for at least Shadowlands and BFA, hunters in groups that I saw at least were liability number one. Let's see if I can general speak with Carthog. Is Carthog around? Oh, he is around. He's hiding. He's sneaky. He's behind a tree. No, that's... There we go. Hi. Let's give you a raid marker so I don't lose you again, because I need more coffee before we can keep up with this. I could grab Darkmoon Fairbuff for a bit of extra rep, or experience, although it's only up until midnight, so I might not make it. That's a strong excuse. I don't know. It's only like 15 hours left to go. It's pretty far. Howdy. Hello. Howdy. Shadowlands is super fun for marks. I played a bit of Hunter just on alts, but I had some Hunter alts that I spent a bunch of time on in BFA. I liked BFA BM Hunter. I enjoyed that. What do you want me to do? You want me to... Oh dear. Oh dear. Hang on, excuse me. Excuse me, Dwayne, if you could. Thank you. On one hand, we get to enjoy... excuse me. On one hand, we get to enjoy this lovely new mouse over to use item on, you know, quest object tracker, which I find doesn't always work, but when it does, it's very nice. On the other hand, we are using it to sever extremities. The Southern Barrens, at least the Horde side of it, I'm sure the Alliance side isn't much better, has been, so far, some of the most brutal classic, or, well, Cataclysm quest lines that I've seen. I know there's lots of them, but these ones are gory, man. Am I worried about the new Canadian super pigs? Farmers crossbred wild boars with domestic pigs. I believe you. No. If I start hearing them, like, in the woods, that will concern me. Until then, I will pay no mind and, you know, wish them the best. Click the thing under your unit for him to dismiss the alley. Oh. Can the new Canadian Super Pig be made into bacon? I have a feeling that's explicitly what the new Canadian Super Pig would be for. Praying for the WoW devs to have an update regarding BFA flying. I love leveling, but I can't fly there yet. I wonder why that ad failed. Huh. Out of rights or something? That can't be right. Hi, Hazel. Hi, Scarlett. How you doing? BFA flying in 10-1? This is news to me. Good. 10-1, huh? Not 10-07? Not that I'm counting. I missed that one. How are you? Are you good? I'm alive. I'm here. I'm awake. I'm having a couple of real gnarly brain days, but I'll make it. I'll be fine. Everything is to some degree under control. No, Super had the right to add commands. Which race would I choose for a monk? I traditionally pick dwarves. I've had dwarf monks and dark iron dwarf monks, and I like to imagine them living on top of mountains, drinking tea out of teeny tiny cups. You can imagine any kind of a monk living on top of a mountain and drinking tea out of a teeny tiny cup, but I particularly enjoy the visual with dwarves. However, I don't have a monk right now, and I'm gonna have to make another one, and I feel like for variety's sake, I'm gonna not do a dwarf. How about a gnome monk? They just seem a little bit like, I'm just imagining them spinning, you know, doing like the spinning kicks and like the, you know, they put out the leg and they do the little twirly thing. You're just gonna look like a Beyblade. You're like this big. Just, and I don't know why that's a problem for me. I don't know what I've got against Beyblades. I just don't want to become one. Drakthir monk win. I did see a line in the Wowhead summary of the Bellular interview with Ian about how evokers are really very much tied to Drakthir, but it's possible that eventually, and I don't know the exact phrasing they used in the real interview, but there's not no chance that they eventually let Drakthir do other things. Which Bellular interview? Is there a new one? I guess so. It depends on which one you think is the old one. He's done a lot of interviews over his life. It's also possible that it was posted a while ago and then Wowhead just got the article up. I didn't watch the whole thing firsthand. How am I doing here? We're getting through some stuff. I've got a whole cup of coffee on my desk though. That's a bit of a crime. Drakthir get new classes at some point, yeah. I would be very surprised if it was during, I would be very surprised if it was during Dragonflight. I would expect that to be a thing for like a future expansion or a patch of a future expansion. But I think it would be a shame if they didn't give them at least warriors. And then I think you could also kind of give them like the basics, you know, the rogue, priest, mage, stuff that everybody can do. Maybe hunters, who can't be a hunter, you know? Just, but specifically warrior, because then you can have Drakthir tanks, and then everybody that wants to tank in a dragon has a way that they can do that. Am I downloading Sims 4? Yes. What is it that you like to do in The Sims? Also, is there any world in which I can herb that Goldthorn, or is that just there to taunt me? Hi, kitty cat. You want back up? Tyberon, thank you very much for the 11-month resub. Appreciate it. Also, Shadu109 had a 2-month resub. Watch your VOD every day. If I can't make stream, you're the best. Oh, shucks. I like playing the game. I'm just, I'm a bit of a Sims outsider. What do you do? I've seen, and all of the content I've seen from The Sims is people being confused and or surprised at the things that their Sims do, or murdering them ruthlessly. Those are the only two things that I've ever seen anybody do in The Sim. I just got my Darkmoon dirigible after a few years of casually grinding. Congratulations, Squish.net. Love and friendships with the townies. It's a life sim. Oh. I guess a bigger question is, what does one do in life? I guess love and friendship's an option. It's not an option I avail myself of. That's gonna drive me nuts. I have to leave. I have to get away from that note. We gotta find another, dude. There we go. I did get the love rocket. Build house with family of 8, put in only 1 bed. In life we play WoW. Sometimes I like to decorate virtual houses to pretend that I have a real one. But I have Animal Crossing for that. I'm pretty satisfied with my collection of toys and my digital dollhouse that is Animal Crossing New Horizons. I could use a few more things to play with, but I actually I haven't really been actively playing Animal Crossing lately, but oh, I need to grab some people. I haven't been actively playing, but I have logged on every once in a while just to stop my villagers from giving me the Omega guilt trip. And I took everything out of my house, and I think I'm going to take everything out of my little yard too and redo all of it. Because it doesn't reflect the kind of house that I want to live in anymore. It was a bit too busy, and I want to see if I can make it feel like... No, that's a trap. That Goldthorn is a trap. It's an extra trap, because Goldthorn's like the most valuable of the Lobi herbs. At least the ones that we can get out here. It may be one of the most valuable of like all of them. This way. Sometimes you decorate one room for 50 minutes. I would say most of the time. I would be surprised. Especially if in my own home, once I get like everything that I want, if we're including the planning phases when I try and figure out, you know, do I want partitions? Will there be a counter? What function is this going to serve? I'd be shocked if I get out of there in under an hour. Locked a bunch of the Sims out of the house in the middle of winter and just waited. What did they do? Did they camp? Did they build a rival town and then amass arms to attack you for this injustice? Because now that's a video game. They froze to death. Oh. Oh, it's a Hazel. Hello, good morning. How you doing today? Hi, honey bun. I'm doing all right. How you doing? Spellbar not being centered is making my eye twitch. I think the spellbar actually is centered. I think it's my... Well, maybe it's not. It's the rest of my UI that is off-kilter that's making it look funny like that. What did they do is the wrong mindset for Sims. What's the right mindset for Sims? I need two more of the flippy flappy dudes. I'm just curious because I feel like there's at one point in my life, assuming that I don't, you know, fall off a cliff or anything, a Sims phase in the future eventually, because people... They don't even ask me if I'm gonna play The Sims. They assume that I already have because it seems to be like a good fit for me on some level. But I've never... I own the free one on Steam, but I've never really played with it. It always seemed a little bit spooky to me. Something about it kind of creeps me out. Closed last night at work. Didn't get to sleep till 2 a.m. Oh, that's late. Pets building an army to attack you is basically the plot of Sand Kings. Take everything out of my apartment and just start over. That's like one of my favorite things about moving is the excuse to just gratuitously declutter and then have that dream of living in the place that's like super minimalist until you realize that you actually need things to do things. Assuming that you want to continue to do things. I've done alright actually. I've done okay. I could declutter a little bit more out of this place. I'm definitely storing things that I do not need to store. But I'm feeling okay with it. There we go. How are we doing? I've got my this green bar that is sort of half hidden behind my action bar is my Orgrimmar rep, and that's tracking my progress through Honored. Once I fill it, then I've got one more to fill from Revered to Exalted. I'm out of Rested experience, which I'm pretty impressed by. I didn't think I would get that far. Okay. My tortoise is hard at work redecorating his home. I have nothing else to contribute, but that seemed topical. That's highly topical. Is Cute Story about pet involving redecorating. I don't think it gets more topical than that. Kitty Cat doesn't redecorate so much. No, not again! I'm gonna get a flamethrower and I'm gonna burn that thing off this hill. Kitty Cat's not so much with the redecorating. She's with the get you to decorate for her. She likes to have her blanket folded just correctly, but she's not folding it. She's a cat. She just meows at me until I do it. When am I gonna get a haircut? Starting to look like a hippie. Oh, because of my... I'm getting scruffy. I'm getting a little fuzzier on the ears. I know you're joking. I do it every week though. I do my once a week mow. Is this one gonna be okay, that one's actually gettable. There we go. can see Hazel having a tortoise. At one point in my life, and I've told this story before because it's not much of a story. At one point in my life, apparently, something I've completely, or that I had completely forgotten, is that apparently I wanted a turtle. And the only reason I knew this was because I was paging through my high school yearbook. I only got one. It was for my grad year. But I was paging through the yearbook, and at the back pages, you have signatures from people that are saying, you know, we're going to be friends forever, which is hilarious. But somebody said something along the lines of, you know, your great friend, wishing you all the best. I hope you get your turtle. And there was like a cute little drawing of like a turtle. And this leads me to believe, I mean, maybe it was, teenagers say all kinds of stuff. people say things just because, particularly millennials in high school, randomness for its own sake was kind of revered. So maybe it didn't mean anything. But I'm led to believe that I, at some point, had like a pining to own and or befriend a turtle. Miniature llama? Is that a real thing? Or are they just young llamas? Person you liked? I mean, I liked everybody. I didn't really have an awful lot of enemies growing up. I don't think I really have enemies now. Silver scruffy-haired Hazel. Who doesn't have a pining for turtles? Oh, there's gonna be a rare right around there. You are. Haha. Phase of wanting a tortoise because I was obsessed with the illustrations in ECO Trot. Terra pining. Yeah, there you go. I was watching some Netflix series that profiled people and their pets because that sounds like me. And there was one man, and I think he lived in Japan, and he had like this tortoise that was old. I don't remember how old, but like old enough that this man had this tortoise for most of his life, and it was going to outlive him. So he was working on apprenticing somebody to look after this tortoise because he was getting elderly and he wanted to have plans in place for his friend. And he would walk the tortoise through the streets very slowly because the tortoise didn't go very fast. He had a sulcata tort. You've seen the thing that I'm talking about? And watching that didn't make me want a tortoise, but it did make me just fascinated by that man and his life and friendship with this tortoise. Third grade arch nemesis. Was he also your high school arch nemesis? Honestly, I don't know what on earth happened to him after elementary school. I don't even know if we went to the same middle school. He might have moved. I might have moved. I don't think I moved. I mean, I did move a lot, but I feel like in that range of time I stayed put. Something very similar, but with a crocodile. Nothing but enemies in high school. They hated me. Hated him back. Yeah, I had people that I was jealous of, but I feel like I tried to keep that on the inside. I had people that I wished would practice more for band because I had already learned my part and I was having to waste my entire band period waiting for them to learn something that they should have practiced on the weekend because I was not very understanding of other people and the fact that it might not be their biggest and first priority in life. I don't know. It was a while ago. It was a while ago. I'm 30 now. I don't remember an awful lot of details and specifics. Would I ever attend a high school reunion? I don't think I'd ever find out about one. I don't think anybody would ever track me down to the point that I would be invited. I'm not on Facebook. I don't have personal social media. I just have content social media, and I don't even check that. So it would be a real long shot for me to even find a reunion. And I don't know if I would want to go. I think it would it would be interesting to see people again, but I don't know. I think it might just bum me out. I think there's no right answer. Either people are doing really well and I'm very happy for them, but then reflecting on my own life, or they're not doing very well and then I'm very sad for them, you know. I suppose there must be a middle ground. I'd go there, but there might be a fight if I do. Sit in my bed, manifest on ex-friend's downfall. Oh, goodness. Been a while since I've been able to catch up. When did I cut my hair? Month and a half ago? Coming on 2 months ago? Something like that. For the first time, anyways. I've re-upped weekly in the intervening time. I'm gonna keep it this way for until I change my mind. There we go. That's where I'm going. great. Thanks. It's wildly convenient. I can shower. I can wash it. I can use a hair product and knead like a microscopic amount to cover all of my hair in a satisfactory way. I can dry it with a regular towel in about 17 seconds. Not 17, 7 seconds. It's phenomenal. I need Fortress schematics. They're probably underneath. They're probably down low. Jackson Mir, thank you for the 23-month resub. Good morning, Hazel and Kira. Hope you are doing well. Good morning. Leveling quite fast. Yeah, this is going a lot better than yesterday. Yesterday I did a little bit of leveling like this on stream yesterday. And I was getting just farmed by Alliance guards because I kept flying into the Alliance camp because I thought my quest NPC was there. My quest NPC was not there. See you, kitty cat. I think she'll rotate back in a bit. Now this, there is a downstairs, and I think that's where I'm going. The trick is, I don't spend a whole lot of time in these dwarven bunkers. So, okay, we're getting somewhere. I'm not wildly good at the layout. Tilted up the face of the earth yesterday. I was having a real bad day. It happens. It happens to people. It's not anybody's fault. It's just sometimes you don't got it. You don't have the extra juice you need to deal with whatever's in front of you, even if it's not a very big thing in front of you. You ever like lose a sock and then just cry? I don't know where it is. And now I only have one, and I have 2 feet, and I want to keep my 2 feet, but I only have 1 sock. And like, obviously you have other pairs of socks. You probably know where they are. Plus the sock's probably just like in the couch. It's not like it's gone forever, but sometimes that doesn't matter. This person's name is Boat Murder. Haggis Boat Murder. If this schematic is about a way that he's going to murder a boat, I swear. These are just fortress schematics. Find the ammunition. We're trying to blow the whole place up. Said to my other half, wish I could shape my head. Sick of my curly but frizzy hair, but couldn't pull it off. Looks good in you. Oh, shucks. If it makes you feel any better or differently, I felt the exact same way. I was convinced I was going to look like a thumb, and to some people I probably do. I just, you know, spent some time thinking about my reasons and deciding how much sense they actually made and how much they were about what other people were going to think. Which I have the luxury at this particular moment in my life of not having to worry about too much. Not everybody has that, but I'm lucky that I can I can kind of be ugly if I want to be ugly. Ugly is subjective, obviously, but it's nice giving yourself the option to ugg it up because it just takes a lot of pressure off. I think I'd spent a lot of time online, and I had seen a lot of content promoting various things you can do, especially hair care, because I was trying to come to grips with my, curly, frizzy, dry hair. And I was, artillery shell sabotage and then get out of there. This is going to take me years. Artillery shell sabotage. Like I know what an artillery shell is. Does it have a claim in it? Is there like candy in there? It's like an M&M. I'm just running laps until I find something I can click on. But yeah, I'd been consuming a lot of content that was like, well, you do this, and then you do this, and then you get this product, and then you apply it in this way, and then you scrunch it in this way, and then if you style this way and you cut it this way so that the shape is big here, but then small here, and then you light it from this angle, but not from this angle, and all of this content designed to teach you how to make yourself look better. And I reached a point where I was like, I don't want to look better. Leave me alone. Not like, obviously I'm the one that's like consuming this content, but I just fell into a rabbit hole I didn't want to be on and, snapped my proverbial crayons. Speaking of leave me alone, where on earth is this thing? I am sabotage a dwarven artillery shell. You'll find the shells in one of the 2 loading bays behind the main garage on this level. It's right around the corner. I feel like he's taunting me. Like I remember where I picked up that quest. Was I down below when I picked up the quest? I might have been down below when I picked up the quest. Yeah. I always wanted curly hair. It can be, I love the way it looks on a lot of people, and I liked the way it looked on me when I had it done just right. But depending on a bajillion factors, it can be a real journey between having the hair and then having it done in a way that is satisfactory. Around the corner in a loading bay. So I talked to the guy in here-ish. Only looks good in wash days. Yeah, mine sometimes it did, and sometimes I don't know. It's just inconsistent, and it was making me a bit batty. I think I might have been less inclined to cut my hair this short if I had naturally straighter or smoother hair, but then I would have been missing out on all of the joys of having my hair this short. So I think in a roundabout way, I am glad. I am losing my absolute marbles. I'm gonna wow hit this. Let's pull that up. Let's get some contextual directions, eh? Sabotage is what this is called. You know, I feel like I've been here before too. I think I've gotten caught on this quest. No, not that one. Not in Zul'Drak. Apparently there's multiple quests called Sabotage. Search. Quests. 11. Holy moly. Southern Barrens, sabotage the artillery shell. Oh, hang on. I can see it in my OBS. There we go. Excuse you. Here, just have a seat. I'm gonna look this up. Comments. Upload video. Find the bomb. Find the room where the goblin is. I forgot where the room where the goblin is. What goblin? Find the room where the goblin is. Go out as if you were going to the front. Take a right before you reach the entrance. You find yourself in a room with the tanks. Go into the room and head to where there's 2 doorways right next to each other. Go through one of the doors and look at the wall. Okay, so I'm going to try and find the room with the tanks. And then I'm going to try to find the 2 doorways right next to each other. I feel like I was adjacent to a room with the tanks. For all I know. Alright, so here's a room with the tank. 2 doorways that are right next to each other. Maybe these 2 at the back? I'm just real rough at 2 doorways right next to each other. There! It wasn't glowing at all. I think that's what was getting, it didn't have like a glow or a sparkle or anything. And then we have 10 minutes to get out. But we do need to do such a thing. See, look, apparently I can get out. That's good. Artica Thorn, thank you very much for the 27-month resub. Hey buddy, just watched your latest video. The gear upgrades actually look much better in my opinion. I'm excited about them too. I think it's gonna feel quite good once we have it. And I think it solves a couple of problems. I think it was just you know, my problem is I took the public opinion from the comments on the blog post. I read the dev post and then I saw, ooh, 627 comments. Let's find out what people are saying, because one of my concerns in life is that I'm increasingly out of touch with what's going on in the community. Mostly because sometimes I get exhausted, but I need to know what people are saying so that I have some idea of what's a relevant thing to add to the conversation. So I go and I read through those posts, and it's the official forums. Of course, people are going to be pessimistic, shall we say? Yeah, no, the comments were a mess. There was every now and then. My favorite thing about reading forum comments that are just melting down is that you'll have people getting into little bickering spats. You'll have people that are writing diatribes about all the reasons it's wrong. You'll have people that are just going to try and come in and have like the snappy take of like the why is it like this and you should just do it like this, but they like misspelled 14 things. And then in the middle of all of it, you're going to have like 1 or 2 people that are just like, hey, I think this looks really good and I'm excited. Can't wait. And they're just, nobody touches it. Nobody engages with it. It's completely left, like, it just drifts along like a bottle cap in the raging torrent of criticism. But it's really funny that somebody, like, I don't know if they just didn't read everything else that was going on there, or they read it and they didn't care. They're like, I'm just going to put my 2 cents in right here. And it's adorable. I love it a lot. I'm not saying that we shouldn't think critically and about new features. It's just there's always quite the response every time anything new is announced. I have not played Lord of the Rings Online. Hive mind's real fast. Yeah, there's people like having the popular take, and the popular take tends to be something critical. They just kind of like workshop until they come up with something that sounds snappy, and then that's the thing for a while. But it also doesn't always have that much staying power. I'm not too worried about the gear upgrade system. I do think that I think crafting is still a little tiny bit on the complicated side. Not so much like the actual. I'm not too worried about the item quality, the material quality, and I'm not too worried about stats like resourcefulness and inspiration. But everything that kind of concerns getting gear work ordered, and the details of that still seem out of reach for some people, and myself for a long time. Gonna graduate in a few months. Can't wait to finally have time to resub again. Yeah, Lord of the Rings Online's been around for a long time. I feel like there's a couple of MMOs that just kind of exist with like healthy, smaller but like healthy, stable communities. I would say both Lord of the Rings Online and ESO both fall into that category of MMOs that are just kind of doing their thing. Tend to avoid reading comment sections, the announcement posts. Yeah, I think you've got the right of it. That's the smart move. Bit of a mess. Some professions need a bit of juice to encourage regular commerce. Yeah. The profession system situation, I feel like, is complicated to the point that I don't understand the whole thing well enough to be able to have an educated take on what's wrong with it or how it could be fixed. It's one of those things where it's like, parts of this don't feel very good, and I don't even know why. Hi. And I think some of the pain points, like when people just say, make it profitable, it's just not how that works. Like they're trying, but it's an economy where we're making gold off of each other. You can't just have everybody making gold really easily. That doesn't work. You can give people free gold, you can print money, and that's just inflation. That's not, we've lived that life before. I learned about that one in the history textbooks. So they're like the profession system and the economy stuff has like very complicated problems, which I think is why the answers get so tricky. Character bottom right corner of the screen. Oh, that is a rare that spawned ages ago. And my rare scanner add-on puts up a little portrait of them that you can click to get a target on them. I killed them a while ago. It's just I didn't close it. It was Melgan Barley Brew. Professions were fine, now random garbage. I respectfully disagree. I think that crafting is a lot more fun, and earning profession knowledge and speccing it out and kind of having this identity as a crafter is a lot more involved, and I've gotten a lot more gameplay and gold and enjoyment out of it this expansion than I ever have before. When it comes to it's basically, I feel like a lot of my issues are surrounding, or a lot of, not my issues, because like I said, I don't know what the specific issues are. I'm not smart enough for that. But a lot of my unease is related to work orders and crafting orders, particularly and specifically for gear. Once you start getting into the crafting order system, that's where it starts getting kind of dicey for me, because you can do some things in public orders and you can do some things that are better in private orders, but then you need to like, there's the networking aspect, there's the having to figuring out, are you going to just take are you trying for a proc? Are you trying repeatedly for a proc? Are you going to recraft? Are you going to send them extra mats and have them recraft repeatedly? Are you going to just continue redoing the order until you get lucky with the proc? Like, there's a lot of I don't know, messiness, I guess, that is specifically around trying to get, especially if you don't know people. Like if you have a friend and your friend's like, hey, I can make this, and then you just kind of sort it out with them, like in Discord, that's fine. But when you are, I think, like a rando in a sea of randos trying to get something done with a high degree of faith that you're spending an appropriate amount of gold on it and not overspending, that gets kind of dicey. That's just hard. This quest is called Don't Stop Bereaving. Hey, it's Mancrick. He's on a bit of a rampage. Looks so bad with a 3-month resub. Shami Time, my favorite, but undertuned class. Public work orders, progression for new crafters. Yeah. It's kind of a tricky thing to have catch up and progression for new crafters. Because on one hand, obviously, when you're coming in from behind, it's going to feel almost useless. But part of the reason why, like, if you just do catch up for something like gear or leveling, it's kind of no skin off the back of the people that already geared and leveled. The only thing they lost was the opportunity cost of, like, well, I guess if you'd waited, then you could have done it faster, but you got to enjoy all this time. And you can make that same argument about, they got to enjoy all this time of having the market to themselves. Do they, because they got in early and put in this work ahead of time, do they deserve to keep that market locked down in perpetuity? Or should it be, because if you make catch up, especially catch up that ramps or stacks up, that allows anybody to come in late and then basically get full maxed out crafting knowledge, you erode at those niches that made crafters valuable in the first place, and you kind of bring us back to where we were, but just with like a bunch of extra steps. I'm not saying they shouldn't add some kind of catch up. I think there's probably a case to be made for more of it, and they've to some extent done some of that with improving the drop rates of Dragon Shards of Knowledge. You want to know one thing that I think is Artisan's Metal is just is in my opinion totally superfluous. It had some purpose originally in the original design of Professions, and if you ask me, it got real lost along the way, and now it's just confusing. Much happier after dropping crafting pros for double gathering, even if it is more distracting. Forgot how weird the Valley of Trials was, leveling an orc alongside you, and there's peons next to bad guys everywhere. Cool haircut. Thank you. Hi, Hazel. Hello. I am level 54. Actually, I probably have some talent points to spend, eh? That sounds true. Yeah, I think that they have a good basis for a crafting and profession system. And they can probably... I'm making this up, by the way, no idea. They could probably stand to clean it up a little bit, just kind of tidy it up on the sides. Look at the core parts of it that are contributing to its success. Keep those, and then figure out if there's any, smaller parts of it that are just overcomplicating things or that are just unnecessary that you can kind of trim out of it. One thing that I think is a bit of a barrier on newer crafters is that if you are not using a resource like a Dragonflight Helper week aura, finding out how to get all of your available knowledge for a week is messy. It's like they didn't expect people to get all of their available knowledge for the week, like you have a set amounts of drops that you can get, and then you've got your weekly quests, but if without the week aura, I feel like you're just adrift there. Snake Man, thank you for the brand new sub. Welcome to the Squirrel Squad. Preview how applying knowledge points affects your skills. Chanting, sometimes the descriptions are a bit confusing. Yeah, I agree. I think that would help a lot. What timeline do you think is most efficient time-wise for leveling an alt? Ooh, there's a correct answer to this, and then there's my answer. I like leveling as much as I humanly can in the Cataclysm timeline, leveling kind of outdoors in these classic zones as they were redone in Cata. Because I figure you get faster mount speed, eventually you get flying and fast flying, which these zones were not designed with in mind, so you can kind of skip a lot of travel time and just kind of fly around, pick up rares, as we see, and blow through quests very quickly. And they tend to be fairly simple quests. There's not usually a lot of... Well, I say as I spent like half an hour running around a bunker this morning, but most of these quests are pretty straightforward kill-collect quests. There's not too many really crazy annoying ones to contend with, so you can kind of do them in batches quite quickly. However, I know that people have leveling routes that involve, I don't even know what they're doing anymore, but people that are good at this, that optimize this as like their main thing, will have routes that involve other expansions. I want to say something to do with Pandaria and Draenor, but I don't know anymore. Should 12 p.m. be midnight or noon? I think we just get into trouble with the AM PM thing, and there not being a great way to flip it over. It is... Well, I mean, you know that I know which one it is. I guess you're asking me which one it should be. Noon or midnight, yeah. I will say that I haven't had very many pieces of confusion in my life that were because I wasn't sure whether something was noon or midnight. I guess the most recent one is I was looking at the Darkmoon Faire end time, and it took me like an extra 5 seconds to figure out, okay, that 11:59, that is right before midnight. That's not noon. That's not morning. Hi, sweetie. Kitty cat. Loki obsessed with the Deathwing connected storylines. Thing that I'm most excited about in 10.1. Currently, the Niffin and their Renown track is top of my list, but I would need to... I guess the new season, too. Not specifically because I'm, like, dying to get into Halls of Infusion and Bracken Knight Hollow, but just because, I don't know, new Mythic Plus season means a new hot excuse to run a bunch of Mythic Plus and spend that time with my friends and figure out, like, what my spec is doing and what things look like, and get some more portals, maybe. Should bi-weekly be twice a week or every other week? Whenever people say bi-monthly, I just want them to be more specific because I also hear it. I think that it should be twice and not every other, but it's so inconsistent that it's like a useless term. More key, more good. Excited for new Noodle Drake. I know Darkmoon Faire used to be 12 p.m. Demo lock confused with single target DPS buffs already feels good. I won't lie, I've become very disengaged with class tuning. It was always kind of the case that I wouldn't really report on tuning changes after a certain point in content because, you know, it's an ever-roiling river. It's always changing. Something gets buffed and it gets nerfed, and such is the way of life. But I used to, at the very least, like, look at my own hotfixes for the class that I was currently playing and be like, oh wow, this thing's getting buffed and this thing's getting nerfed. Oh no, or whatever. I don't even do that anymore. People ask me what I think about the Evoker changes, and I go, I notice when they fix bugs or when they make changes to... I try and find out if they're changing something like what's going to consume your Leaping Flames charges or whatever. Or honestly, consuming echoes when I don't mean to consume echoes is my biggest pain point, and they've done some work improving that lately. But I think I ran out of brain space for buffs and nerfs. I just have to trust that it's all going to be okay in the end. Hate when someone takes the banner spot right in front of the tailor guy. Did you want to take the banner spot right in front of the tailor guy? I'm not even getting org rep anymore. These quests are just quests. I don't know if Mankrik is affiliated with the Horde. He still says Orgrimmar, but his quest line is not giving me org rep. Hi. Yeah. Whatever you need, bud. Mike2298, thank you for the 19-month resub. Hey Hazel, happy Saturday. Another great video today. Thanks very much, Mike. I appreciate that. Cork with a 29-month resub. IMO, they shouldn't announce the balance changes so far in advance. Sitting here as a hunter just feeling bad because by the time it hits, it'll be 5 weeks since they promised the buff. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate them testing changes like that on the PTR, and because they're tested, they're gonna end up getting data mined whether they announce them or not. But yeah, I agree. That's kind of awkward. Did I find his wife in Maldraxxus? I don't know. I don't know. I didn't pay a ton of attention to names in Maldraxxus. Waiting for soup to start. My kitty's following characters around the screen. Morning, Hazel. Good morning. This is a cute cat. I'm hoping she hangs out with me today. Okay. Now you, funnily enough, this undead here, who's having me absolutely dismember people for bits. He's affiliated with Orgrimmar and is in fact giving me Orgrimmar rep. Not Undercity, Org rep. There's nodes over there, but we need brains. Don't know what to tell you, we need brains. Great to see you streaming. Hope you have a great weekend. Thank you. Seems like a reasonable thing to hope for. I've had a couple of failed naps, which is about as depressing as it sounds, where you're just like kind of exhausted and kind of tired, and then you're like, well, it's okay, I'm gonna take a break and lay down, and then I'll feel better when I get up, and then I'll be able to deal with whatever. And then you just can't even sleep, even when you're like real sleepy. But sometimes it's easier to sleep with the kitty cat. She'll like lay on top of me, and she's got like a nice little, she's not heavy, but you know, she has a little bit of body weight, and she purrs, and it's all fuzzy feeling. It's nice. Too tired to sleep. Sometimes you need brains. Are the TSM videos on YouTube still useful? I haven't seen them in a while. My understanding is that the interface of TSM has changed, and there are some new features, but the core functionality of creating and using operations is still using the same kind of logic and the same kind of terms. So the basics of it should still apply, but I have not confirmed. I have not verified. I've been meaning to redo that set of videos since they came out, more or less. I never finished them the first time around. There was going to be another one in that series that never got made. But it's never been high enough on the list. Well, there's some Undercity rep. I'm honored with Undercity. Okay. Brackenwell Village, Dustwell and Marsh. Am I gonna get Horde rep and Orgrimmar rep and Dustwell and Marsh? Maybe. How's the DBM voice pack coming in? I am it's not high on the list. You knew that. I don't know why I even read that one. I don't know why we're doing this. I think I have the Azure Whelpling pet. Yeah, there it is. World Drop from Winter Spring. Farming these was like one of my favorite things to do back in like late Wrath, early Cataclysm. I didn't really raid or do high-end content, but I could park in a zone and I could farm a pet. Farm that one when it dropped in Ashara. Are you guys gonna have... You do look like you're affiliated with Orgrimmar, more or less. I feel like there's a reason why I don't go to Dustwell and Marsh, though. Maybe the early quests will be nice and efficient. I don't usually level here, and normally that's for a reason. Normally there's, especially in these sort of like higher level lobby zones, the quests can get kind of messy. Overlord Mok'Marak. Forgot that there was orcs in the Horde. Everything's close together. Farming right now, it's a nightmare. Enough hours of video available, you could make an AI Hazel voice. Oh man, I don't think I'm prepared for people to start deep faking me with AI. In voice acting or otherwise. That is some pressure I am not ready to live with in my life. I guess I should have thought of that before I put myself on the internet. Is it confirmed that you need Exalted? I suppose not, but it would be very weird if it wasn't. It's worked that way for the rest of the heritage armors. Maybe it was confirmed. Wouldn't Legion be better? Maybe. Quite possibly. Then I'd have to go level in Legion. I like the older zones. They're cozy. You can get them around them real fast. They're not quite as mob dense sometimes. There's lots of, generally lots of urban mining nodes that are good experience. And, I don't know. It's comfy. When you started putting yourself on the internet, it wasn't quite as feasible to make fake creators. Yeah, I guess so. You know, what should stress me out is all of the, you know, general ramifications of, you know, if people can take your image and your voice and they can make you say and do whatever they want, that can not only get you into trouble for explicit content, but for, you know, they can have you say things that are offensive. They can really do anything, which is terrifying. However, the thing that freaks me out is the idea that somebody fairly easily using AI could make me do more work than I currently do with no AI necessary. I do not create a high quantity of content these days, and I haven't for a long time. And the idea that you could use some software to get more and better ideas out of me than I'm spitting out naturally just makes me feel a little bit sad. I don't know if that's exactly how that works, but I bet you the technology's getting there. Yeah, I've got one of the city tabards on. I just, I like questing. I like questing. Plus, I feel like if you can do it kind of quickly and you can tear through, if you can tear through batches of quests in these sort of small zones like this, you can get pretty juicy chunks of rep pretty fast. I just need to need to be a little better at it. Easy to do keys with a Holy Priest, best healer spec in the game. I would recommend that you go look at Substack. That will have, is that what it's called? Subcreation? There's a website that shows the statistics for what the healers in the top keys are. And that'll give you more information. I play a Preservation Evoker right now, and I've been very happy with that. But I haven't played anything else at a high level this thing. Subcreation. What's Substack? That's like a place where people get newsletters, right? Have AI stream for you, take days off. You think you guys would notice? You just program like the 4 stories that I tell on repeat into it. You gotta have the AI cat show up every now and then. And then make sure it's always about 4.5 minutes late, and then you're in business. Do it yourself first, right? AI would mess up the cat. Yeah, it's true. It would get me done pretty well, but it wouldn't get Kira quite right. Plants, fishing, public transit. Public transit. I guess we do occasionally mention public transit. Bought a new WoW account, made a druid, and I want to collect every single thing and do every single thing on one single character. I'll keep you busy for a while. Mentioned that one quite a bit when I've watched. That is quite a project. Supply of streamers that outstrip the supply of viewers. I mean, you could argue that the supply of streamers did outstrip the supply of viewers for a while. Streaming's quite oversaturated. It's less so now. I think a lot of the people that tried streaming on the understanding that it was going to be very easy and also very successful right away have kind of realized that that's not the case and then moved on to other things. But yeah, I'm interested to see what the next like 3 years worth of just content creation landscape looks like, with people using AI increasingly to both make content, but also just to assist them in making content. You know, maybe it's like a human creator that has the AI help them with scripts and stuff. If it's going to be possible to, like, if everything's going to start sounding kind of the same, or if, I mean, it already does sound a little bit the same, but I feel like one of the reasons that people watch individual creators online on like Twitch and YouTube instead of watching just like a big corporation cover something is because they want that individual personality that is specific to the person, and it's kind of up to debate to what degree an AI can create that. Home improvement podcast when? Listen, if I mean, it's going to go one of two ways. Assuming that I am very lucky and work hard and turn my life around and buy a home one day. hey, spider. One of two things is going to happen. One, I get real into home improvement, and that becomes a big source of anecdotes on stream where I'm telling you all about the latest thing that happened while I was trying to retile my backsplash or whatever. The other thing that could happen is that same scenario, except that I am so frustrated and or embarrassed by my lack of progress while trying to become handy that I don't want to talk about it on stream because I can't stand to listen to all of the people correctly tell me that I'm doing it wrong. I think that there's a possibility that would freak me out to the point that I wouldn't want to talk about it. Yeah. I feel like I'm smart enough to know when I'm over my head with things. I feel like there's some things like that I know that I can do on my own and that I can handle, and there's some things that I think I could do if I did a bunch of research and I took it real slow, and then there's things that I know I should just not touch. Anything that involves like heavy duty plumbing that is more complicated than just tightening a valve, or you know, electrician related, anything electrical that is more complicated than changing out a light fixture, is a good thing for me to find somebody to do for me. Anything very heavy, not a good fit for me to do on my own. Tradesman did multiple house flips. Even I wouldn't do it online. Yeah, sometimes I feel like I just want to make all my mistakes in peace. I just want to make my mistakes and live with my own consequences without hearing anybody be like, oh no, you know what you did? You know what you did. I'm sorry. I know what I did. Could I get more metal by dropping a gathering profession and taking up another one? I thought they had something in place to prevent people from min-maxing metal by dropping professions and picking them up again. But I'm fuzzy on the details. I know that you do get a bit of metal for first-time crafts. Honestly, I think my best bet is to try to find a house that's nicely done enough that I feel like I can leave it alone for a long time, and then just live there for a year or more without really doing anything to it to figure out what actually bothers me and what it turns out that I kind of like. Because sometimes what I think I want is not as important as I thought it was. I can't think of any examples right now, but I'm sure there's things in my life that I've gone to great efforts to do like my own way or just set up specifically for me, and then it turned out I didn't actually need all that. Should I drop inscription for fun and take alchemy? For fun? That's only you know what is fun for you. I have alchemy and I've enjoyed it. Starting any profession from behind is a bit rough because there's not really great catch-up for knowledge, so you are going to be behind in knowledge compared to where you were. Got a house that was sub 5 years out from a remodel. Had the last year to figure out what we wanted to change. Yeah, because when I look at places, often the things that are finishes that strike me as, you know, I would want to change that. Painting is one of them, and that's a relatively easy one relative to other things. If a room is a color that you just hate and you want to change the color of it, that's, you know, within reach, especially if you're willing to paint it yourself. It's not a hard thing to do, it's just a tedious thing to do. That takes a fair bit of time if you want to do it neatly. But, you know, and you can lay out drop cloths and you can set up your painter's tape and you can get your stuff and have a day of it or have a weekend of it or whatever. That's fine. The other things that tend to stand out to me are countertops and cabinets, and those are expensive. You can paint a cabinet, you can change out like the door hardware pretty cheaply, but if you actually want to replace cabinet doors or cabinet boxes, or you want to redo counters and not just like, you know, cover them with contact paper, you are going to have a big expensive project. But, you know, I can look at a bunch of photos and be like, I like this countertop and not this one. But when I'm actually just like chopping up cucumbers on it, am I going to care? I think not. I think that as long as it's functional and it's not like, you know, there's not water getting underneath a seam in it that's making it rot underneath. As long as it works, it'll probably be fine. Computer nerd with no history of house skills. Use YouTube to learn how. Successfully replace some shingles on my roof. Am I cutting my cucumbers directly on the countertop? No. I was just trying to think of some food prep that I actually do on a counter, and slicing cucumbers, potatoes, sweet potatoes, avocados. I've been making a lot of smoothies lately. I've been perfecting my smoothie setup. I got some orgret from doing all that. That's good. Some of these things are not going to be, they may not be Orgrimmar related. This is an elf thing. The ogres here are useful for little more than crude jokes, sour ale, and bouts of headbutting. That would make quite a sound. All right, we got more Goldthorn down here. I am level 55 and a bit. I should probably rotate down south a little bit. Vendermog? Vendermog. Wait, was there Vendermog? I'm going back. I'm turning around. Yeah, I use cutting boards. I have a pair of cheap plastic ones that I got at Target when I moved a few times ago, and I've just been hanging onto those ever since. Oh, there was on the ogre vendor. Okay, we're going back. I haven't looked at that yet. How did I miss that? I have some cloth trousers I can send to a clothy. At some point, maybe I'll spend some of this gold to buy bigger bags. Now that she has her fast flying, she's got 1,600 gold again, mostly just from questing and leveling. And Ogmar is a butcher. He just has like some recipes. Crack is an armorer. I know those things. ATT doesn't see anything for me except for the ray gun off of Dr. Weevil, but that doesn't mean that there's nothing here. I've found that it's still lagging a bit in white and gray mogs, so these are BOEs. I'll pick those up just to send them to a warrior that can learn them. Anything else? When I have a rectangular loaf of bread, do I eat the heel? It kind of depends on how, ooh, yeah, see, look at all these things. Whether I eat the heel depends on how much bread I have available to me and how freezer burned and or dry the heel of the bread is. So the answer is sometimes. Okay. All right. Look at all these things. Transmogs on transmogs on transmogs. But yeah, all the things definitely is not catching everything in terms of white and gray mog yet. Okay. And then I can send a bunch of stuff to my warrior that she can learn. Should be a mailbox around here somewhere, eh? Hello? I don't want to drop one. There should be one. Yeah, there we go. Warriors, I appreciate because they can learn not only like swords, but also guns and bows. I sometimes send them to my hunter, but you don't have to. I can send them to my warrior. I ran add-on updates this morning before I started the stream. Org Tabard run low instances. Do they need to give XP for rep? It says just reputation gains in dungeons. I don't think they need to give experience. I think they need to offer rep though. So I'm not 100% on that. I feel like if I queue it for a dungeon, it's going to stick me in. It's going to find whatever the worst possible dungeon is and just stick me in that one. Here, let's go south a little bit. I feel like the northern ones are a bad go. We've got some ogres we can mess with down there. There's a cutting board transmog in WoW. I don't know exactly what it's from. I know Flabby has it because he runs around with it all the time. I don't think I have it. It must be like a one-handed mace or an axe or something like that. But it's pretty important. You put a fish in one hand, the cutting board in the other hand, and you look like you mean business. Tuskar mug from Ascara. That sounds about right. Every time I try new dungeons in Classic Chromie Time, I get Dire Maul over and over again. Yeah, it has a tendency to put me into whatever the dungeon that I least want, is usually where I end up going. I would queue into BC dungeons because a lot of the BC ones are quite fast. You know, you get the Hellfire Ramparts, and you get the Underbog, and you get the Slave Pens and whatever, and those are all like quite quick dungeons. But then I queue into BC, and then it puts me in the Culling of Strathholm's Wrath. It puts me in Escape from Durnhold Keep for like the millionth time, pre-RP, where you have to, oh my gosh, it's the worst. It's very difficult to, even if you decide that you're going to stick it out and do it, it's hard to get a group to sit through the whole thing because people will fail to pick up the quest in the middle before Thrall gets let out of the cage. And then, or somebody will start it before anybody else has had a chance to even try to pick up the quest, and then people rage quit. Messy. Messy. Surprising amount of rep for that. Not rep, just experience. I feel like I'm not getting any. Oh, that's a lot of XP though. I don't think I'm gonna get rep for this one, but I'm also here for XP. I also just want to level. We can just like once we get to 70, we can just smash through like some Kata dungeons or some BC dungeons or something with the tabard and sort it out. Rolling pin, that is something. Plans to get the ray gun. I feel like once upon a time, in a land far, far away, I tried to get the ray gun. And it was difficult, and I became frustrated, and then I didn't go back. And I think that happened a long time ago. Yeah, level 56. I think that happened a great deal of time ago. And the longer I've been gone, the more afraid of Dr. Weevil I have become. I don't know what it's going to take for me to go back there, but I remember it being hard, like not something that you can just outgear. It was some gameplay that was tricky for me. When you cast Earth Shock, gain Lava Surge, increase the damage of your next Lava Burst. Oh, okay. I'm trying to just grab a bunch of passives that would be useful for me for just questing and leveling. I'm not really using a lot of totems. Shamans can have nature swiftness? Shamans can have nature swiftness? This is something. Yeah, Stone Talon's probably good for our grip. Oculus is an immediate quit for me. What do you have to do for it? Oh, for the Weevil thing? Honestly, I don't wildly remember. There was something to do with electricity porting you back to the beginning. Changes a lot depending on the patch. The way it's balanced is really weird. They shoot you off your mount when you approach the island. Yeah, I don't even remember the details of how it works. I guess I could look it up. It is a toy that has been tormenting me for a long time. I wonder why they wanted to give me 9k experience just for getting this, getting those venom sacks. Fine, buddy. Yeah, this is great experience. It's just because you're getting a bunch of just breadcrumb quests that have like half a quest worth of XP just for talking to somebody. Bug with ATT Grey Monks doesn't say collected when I equip it. Yeah, I think it's still not working quite correctly. It's been like that for a while. I will have items that contradict themselves. They'll say collected and they'll also say not collected. I just equip everything just to be sure, just in case, and then I, trust. Question Wreath with Ogron. So there's Ogron. We're not going to lose him because he's going somewhere and doing something. T and no T at the same time. Schrodinger's mock. Why would there be a Titan touch derb in a cave you can only get in with mining? I don't know, it's frustrating. Maybe you get real lucky when looting a different Titan touch herb and it ports you in there, or maybe it's just for those people that have mining and herb, but Oh, you know what? Actually, the other thing that you can do is you can get into those mining caves using explosives that you can get from the Dragon Scale Expedition. Pretty sure that's true. I think that's the thing. It's annoying though, I agree. Dynamite, yeah. Yeah, I'm not saying it's a good a good idea for them to have put them in there, but there is a way around it. Oh, you leaving? Okay. I'll see you later. Wish the rock walls didn't show up as ore deposits on the map. I haven't done an awful lot of herbing recently. How is profit for herbing recently? Prices, I thought herb prices came down. Honey Bear, it's only 20 minutes after 10. My theory is that she does this whenever she wants me to get up and move on. And normally she waits until at least 11, but... Throw a little Earth Elliot there. Self-target macro to place the dynamite without any pesky clicking. Oh. I used to joke that every time Kitty Cat would go into the living room and meow for me for seemingly no reason, she was watching worms escape from the worm bin and then just sitting out in the living room going, "Mom, worms!" But the worms generally are in their worm bin and they've been fine. They haven't been needing anything lately. I still have made no progress on separating them from their finished castings so that I can use those in the garden. Yeah, that's a that has been a later me problem for a hot minute now. Try dismissing Dwayne. Oh, there you go. NPC in every cave mining a rich draconium deposit so you can't get to it. Blizzard put that there just to taunt you. I don't know if I've seen such a thing. Okay. Yeah, so no rep for all of that, but decent XP. We're 56 and a half almost. Yeah, that does work. Wasn't sure if it worked. Ever try mining, you'll find out who he is. I did a little bit of mining on Crinkle, on my gnome warrior, when I thought I was gonna have a bunch of characters that covered all the different professions, but that dream didn't last very long. I ran out of steam quite fast, real quick. It's more work than I was prepared to keep up with. I still have my Zora Whelpling up. I'm gonna have lots of stuff to vendor. One thing that I kind of like about leveling is when you're just out questing and you pick up all kinds of different just stuff. I like sort of the organizational session at the end of it where I will go and I'll sit down, usually, sometimes on stream, usually after I turn off stream, I'll just sit on the character and I'll open up a vendor and I'll open up the auctionist because I have my Brutosaur and I'll be like, okay, we're going to sell this, this, and this. We're going to vendor this, this, and this. We're going to send this one to this character to learn from Transmog. We're going to send this one to this character. And just the process of going through like a big bag and turning it into, turning it into gold as best as I can. It's just satisfying. Feels nice and clean. Okay. I don't think these quests are really what I'm after, but they seem fine. Uriz Artaeus, thank you for the 5-month resub. Forgot I was even subbed, but hey, 5 months. 5 months, thank you. Shocked you like organizing, are you? I always thought that people were either like organized or they weren't. You know, you would see the state of somebody's office or bedroom or, WoW interface or whatever it was. And you would kind of be like, all right, this person is very neat and this person is like me. And it would be very black and white. But I find that in my life, I'm inconsistent with how organized I am. I will go on tornado tears of hyper-organizing everything. and then I will lose all interest and slowly let it fall into disrepair and allow the entropy to take over until I snap, and then I go back into tornado mode, and then I fix it all again. It's very cyclical. It doesn't make any sense, and it's very inefficient in terms of my time. Judging by my interface. Oh, I think my interface is very organized. It's just organized to me. Different professions planned across multiple characters, then found out how much I had to do to maintain it. Yeah. I got a sorcerer hat for that. LA Shaman's kind of fun. I didn't have a lot of faith. I was prepared to swap to enhancement at the drop of the hat as soon as I figured I wasn't having any fun, but I mean, the build that I've got is basically just use as many passive talents as possible and, you know, lava burst every now and then, but it feels good. Who doesn't want to throw big chunks of lava at spiders? Bars are covered by your hotkeys. Yeah, but that's only a problem. It's just these upper bar. And that's just because I am both tracking reputation and leveling, which is a very niche use case. I will finish leveling and then it'll be just the rep bar, or I will stop tracking the rep and then it's just the XP bar. I do see what you're saying. I just think it's fine. It's okay. Treant mount changes lace per season. It's so cute. I haven't been on it in a bit. Check on the little caterpillar that's on there. I hope you guys have a wonderful day today. Hello. I hope you have a wonderful day also. It's a brand new weekend. It's March. It's springtime. That's terrifying. I wonder if I'm ever going to be okay with the passage of time. I guess it just depends on how caught up I feel like I am. Being graded for comedic effect. Time walk tomorrow if you want. Probably. I would assume, because it's only 10:30. I'm only halfway through my stream time slot for the day, so I'm imagining that I'm going to be able to get to 60 and start Dragonflight stuff. I just kind of figure, in Dragonflight, I was gonna... My plan was basically world quests and side quests for, well, for Rep for what though is the thing. I don't think I was gonna give her any special professions. I think I've given up on my dream of multiple professions, and I'm just gonna place the capture totem on the ground. I'm just gonna... This guy, there's a quest for him, but what is the quest and why? Is it for this? No. Maybe I have a quest for this guy later. Yeah, usually the reason I like getting rep while I'm leveling an alt in Dragonflight is to get the renowns up for the sake of profession knowledge. There's like profession knowledge gains that you can get. Yeah, that's definitely not what we're after. Profession knowledge gains that you can get for hitting certain renown levels. But if she's just going to be mining an herb, it doesn't wildly matter, does it? What else would I want the profession, the rep for? You have to have a 70 human alliance to do the heritage armor? I think it's going to be a 60 human to do the heritage armor. Time isn't allowed to pass. That makes my WoW time expensive. Not bothering with rep on non-crafting tunes? Yeah. Yeah, I guess maybe I would be more inclined to level via time walking on a character, or if I'm just writing off rep, which I probably should. I don't really need the rep. Has to be human, need to get leveling. For what thing kills the fun? That's why I don't like dailies and world quests and so on. I feel like, for me at least though, gaming almost always has to have a for something. It's just figuring out what your goals are. I suppose the goal for this character is getting her set up for heritage armor, which means that I'm gonna get some reputation on her, and I'm gonna get her leveled, and then to have a character that's prepared to farm, like, you know, Nighthold for mounts, and, you know, raids for mounts, and then kill outdoor bosses also for mounts. So for that, it would be nice to have a little bit of gear, I guess, but you can gear up a character without needing to worry too much about how you leveled it. Welcome back. I feel like she's accelerated her her calendar throughout a day of before she would be on my lap for like half a stream, leave for half an hour and then come back once, and now it seems like you're in and out an awful lot. Are you trying to collect me? Do we have somewhere to be? Do I have an appointment I've forgotten about? Hi. Yeah. Aww. She's a big cat on self-petting. You can kind of offer the hand and she'll show you which spot she wants the scritches on. Hi. I don't think she can see me very well, but I still try and give her slow blinks now and then. Last day for Darkmoon Fairy. Go get your free profession levels. Did I do that on my, I can't remember if I did that on, Dry Wallow Crocolisk. Fight them near the totem. Model Dry Wallow Crocolisk. Totem tests performed. Maxed out Blacksmith. Congratulations. Cyberwolf, thank you for the 42-month resub. Hi everyone. I started a new orc alt to level for Heritage Armor and then remembered I had an orc DK in another server. There you go. What's the fate of your alt though? You gonna keep it? You can always use another alt. Well, this must be nervous. I don't know if I would decimate my alt supply the same way that I did that one time. I think that part of it was just a desire to clean, and I had all these characters that like were partially leveled in various states of disrepair. But I think part of it was just that I didn't like their names, and I didn't want to pay for like 12 name changes. I had named all my characters variations on Hazel with varying amounts of letters, but it all came out to somewhat the same thing, and it was absolutely impossible for me to remember which one was which and try to mail myself stuff. It was driving me nuts. I think I mostly just wanted the characters to have a little bit more of their own identity that I could remember, and names that I could spell. And that was pretty much the deal. I don't know if this will count or not. It might. But I do, if I ever run up against character cap again, or if I just feel like I have too many, I guess. I don't know. I had too many for when I was farming. I forget what I was farming, but I was farming something on stream, and I was using all of my alts to run an instance or kill a boss or something. And I reached a point where even if I had more alts, I couldn't fit that many mount runs into a 2 or a 3. Oh, you good? You alright, honey bear? She's fine. She aborted. She just jumped. There's nothing in this general range so that if she jumps off the chair, she doesn't hit anything, but hi! A little shaken up. She's doing the thing cats do where they like groom to show that they totally meant to do that. Wasn't a mistake at all. If I see a Hazel, should I think it's you? Unlikely to be me. Unlikely to be me. I had 50 characters. I think a lot of my characters were placeholders or like on other servers. I think I had somewhere in the range of like 30 on the main server, but you're right, it was kind of unwieldy. I would love for them to add eventually some form of organization, some way to organize character screens and like, I don't know, filter them, or maybe I just like file structures and maybe that's a bit too impersonal for my characters. But if I could put them into folders, you know, filter them, sort them, order them, tag them, that kind of thing. You could come up with some language to do it in a way that doesn't feel quite so much like you are storing them in a filing cabinet. Binders of Warlocks, precisely. You get it. Miss the comfy midnight farm streams. I'm excited that we're finally able to kind of farm Nighthold and Tomb of Sargeras with that same level of characters being able to actually progress through the instance, because it lets us do mount run streams again. I mean, eventually the mounts will drop and then we'll have to come up with something else to do. And Taurus is a bit of a spicy one because A&R is brutal. A&R is brutal to solo. And you have to, I mean, I can try and unlock the skip by clearing the raid 4 times on a bunch of my characters by enlisting the help of people. It's just such a gnarly fight. Figured it out, but it's horrible. Yeah, it's not pretty. Oh, I forgot to drop the totem. So I think that one I'm just gonna skip over for a while. But I need I need 2 mounts from Nighthold, which could take me a while. I need 1 mount from Tomb of Sargeras, which shouldn't take me that long. I had some feeling that the Abyss Worm from Mr. Sassine was like a higher drop rate. I don't know if that's true. And then we need Rust Feather. We need the Arachnoid Harvester mount. And I need the Pond Nettle. I got stuff to do. So close to her, just missed a jump at the end. If you could two-person a raid but split up to save time? That's a good question. I don't know. I wonder if it would make it annoying to hand out transmog if you were trying to do that. My talents are starting to is that same totem gonna work for this? Help me do a little bit more damage, which is nice. Mana from Tomb is like 1%. They normally are, I believe. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know why I thought that one was more common. Maybe just more people have it. Can I see in my mount journal? Abyss Worm. Apparently 15% of players have it. It's a blue quality mount according to Rarity Raider and Mount Journal Enhanced. Dire Horn Grim Totems killed. Oh, you betcha. These are going to be no good for rep, but I betcha we're going to get some experience. Did Antorus for Dog Mount. Yeah, Dog Mount I got back, I think I got a drop of that like in LFR, or maybe even the normal raid back when I was actually raiding Antorus and Legion. So at least one of them is off the list, but I want the Shackled Urzel. It's a cool mount. I suppose I'll live. I'll get by. Nearly 57. I think you can start Dragonflight. Correct me if I'm wrong. I have this idea that you can start Dragonflight at level like 58. Like you can go 2 levels early. I don't know if that's actually true or not. The rarest mount that I have, according to that collection data from Rarity Raider, is technically... Let me see if we're filtering it all. Looks like the... Really? Sort by collected sources all? Yeah. The mod-adapted Raptora. This is a protoform synthesis mount that had a bit of a rare schematic that had to drop from a rare, and then you had to actually craft the darn thing. That I thought it used to be the PvP one. There was a PvP one, but yeah, a lot of there's a lot of protoform synthesis mounts that are sub 1% collected up here. People just didn't do it. It is true. It's one of the creepiest mounts in the game. Got into a heroic pug recently. Got 3 of 8 down. Nice. That's awesome. I had so much fun in Vault of the Incarnates. I thought that was such a good raid. Don't get me wrong. I'm feeling finished with it now. I feel like I've done enough of it. I've achieved my goals. I got my Razageth skin. I got my tier. I got my memories. I got my AOTC. I'm finished with it for now, but it was awesome. The fights were all like they all felt memorable. You know, they were different. They had their themes. They're pretty good spread of different damage profiles for the different fights. Except for Razageth, none of them felt crazy long. I really enjoyed it. Still want the Wasp. Maw-Touch Bird dropping from the elite big dudes. No rare involved. Oh yeah, you're right. That is true. That is correct. Heroic Dragon Staff. Then I'll be very happy. Oh. I got lucky and I got one of those out of my vault because there was no way it was coming out of raid. They just weren't dropping, and I had a one of my raiders is a Devastation Evoker, so they'd be first in line for the staff. But I got a Carnal X from vault, which is nice. I mostly use it to kill mobs that are standing in front of my expedition packs. Only Razzie to go now. Heroic Razzie was tough. I feel like it was a good level of difficulty though for like a heroic end boss. It took some real progression to do, but it also didn't feel impossible. It felt like we were progressing. It felt practicable. It felt like something that was scripted enough that if you ran it enough times, you could learn it in a way that made it feel reasonably easier, as opposed to just having to wait for like good RNG on who gets mechanics and good RNG on how many things go out or whatever. It felt like something that we could reasonably learn through practice. And even though it was like a really long fight with a lot of different things to learn, we were kind of chewing through it slowly over time, but it still felt like an accomplishment when we got it down. I don't know how hard it is to design or tune an encounter like that, but I feel like they did a good job with it. Heroic Razzie. Normal Razzie's tough and a pug too. Working on Mythic Taros now. Got the rare bow out of one of those weekly quests in the Alt Hunter. Feel a bit bad. Stop raiding BFA. Pretty much stopped doing dungeons in Shadowlands. I thought Shadowlands had great raids also. They're, I don't think I had any big issues with the raids or the dungeons in Shadowlands now that I think of it. I feel like they had maybe the middle raids. Sanctum and Domination. What was my problem with that? Was it just too dark? Sylvanas was too long? Sylvanas had too much running around feeling like you weren't doing anything, maybe? Shards of Domination didn't bug me that much. They were a little annoying, but they didn't really ruin my life or anything. Sanctum was just kind of boring. So the last 2% of death. He has a Shadow Priest because I didn't pay attention to the raid chat and missed the wipe call out on normal. Oh, that's hilarious. I think Shadowlands had that I didn't like was the Fairy and Turn to Sight that had you running the maze. Yeah. That one went better once we had, like, weak auras for it. I just wish that, I feel like that would have been a lot better if after somebody had gone to check what the rune was for a given doorway, if it would just stay visible. I feel like having it disappear just made everybody offload that onto add-ons, and people might have been more inclined to do the puzzle. Because, like, during the boss fight when you're doing the puzzle, maybe people were doing that with add-ons, but for the most part, I feel like we were actually looking at the options and doing the puzzle part of it. But for the maze, no way. Absolutely not. KT was awful. Sanctum had good fights, but I dislike the aesthetic. If I stacked up all the laundry I've done while watching Hazel, it would reach to the moon. How much laundry do you do in a week? Just generally curious. I feel like I run a load or two that's like sheets and towels, because I like doing those every week at least. If I'm feeling extra luxurious, I'll do my towels twice a week. And then I can get away with one load of clothes a week. I have enough workout clothes that I can kind of get away with that. Sweaters and stuff I'll wear multiple times without washing them. And I have enough of like the rest of the stuff that I can kind of do like one load of laundry a week and call it good. Bless you. Cat under my desk. Requirements for new heritage armor. I won't lie to you, despite the fact that I'm working on it, I'm not 100%, you know, cross my heart and hope to die sure. The understanding that I'm operating on is that I'm going to need to be level 60, and I'm going to need to be exalted with Orgrimmar on an orc character, and then, you know, or, you know, you could be level 60 exalted with Stormwind on a human character. I'm going to level it to 70 anyways. I'm going to take it all the way to 70 anyways, just in case, but my thinking is that it's 10 levels below cap plus exalted, because that's similar to how it's worked in the past, but I won't lie to you, I'm not 100% sure. See people running Shadowlands raids from Mogs and Raid Finder, but hesitant to join them. Good enough to do current heroic raids, easy time in older Shadowlands raids in a group. I think that in a group, extra bodies are just helpful. The raid is already scaled to like a flat, like the lowest the raid will scale is to 10 people. So if they have less than 10 people in there, you being there isn't going to make the mobs any harder, so any amount of damage that you do whatsoever will help. And I think that you're probably tanky enough that you're most likely not going to be in huge danger, especially if you're you know, just paying attention to what's going on under your feet. I think you should join it for fun. What's the worst thing that can happen? Thought it was max level. Again, I'm not 100% sure, so I don't feel confident arguing this with my whole spirit, but I used to think it was just 10 levels below cap. I don't know why I think that. That's just how I feel like it has been. I don't know why it would be. Special heritage armor for characters that were created and launched it. This quest needs you to get like a lot of things to drop, and they don't seem like they really want to drop. A lot of tongues and hearts that are not looking good right now. Damage coming out is pretty good though. I feel like we're trucking through this. We made it to 57. I think I can totally get to 60 today. I don't remember what I started at, like 51, I think. I think I started today at 51. And I think that I can do 60 this morning. I have a lot of quests. What do we need from here? If you're lucky, you can get the pet to drop and then you can have an extra one to sell. I think I remember doing these quests for Lore Master at one point, and I remember there being not enough of certain mobs and too many of other ones. It was a bit of a long one to get through. It just seems like there's enough stuff that overlaps that it should be somewhat efficient. Have I seen Good Will Hunting? I watched it a long time ago. I haven't seen it recently. I did see that it's either just been put on Netflix or they've just highlighted that it's on at least Canadian Netflix. So I had some notions about watching it again. I get it mixed up with other movies, I think. Oh, Saga, that's awful. That really sucks. I'd say those aren't the people that you want to group with anyways, and that's probably true, but that probably doesn't help very much. I want to finish these quests before I get up and take a break, but that's not really wildly realistic. There's kind of a lot of them. Let's get the grog and the strong box. Strong box? Yeah. I thought it was a snuff box, but no, it's just this one right here. Have you watched Jane the Virgin? Never seen a telenovela? What a ride. I have not seen it. Is that what it is? Is it a telenovela? I thought it was like an old sitcom, but then again, I never watched it, so I wouldn't know. I haven't seen that. I did watch the first episode of the Philomena Kunk documentary or mockumentary. Where a funny British lady talks about history in a very snarky way. And I enjoyed it, although I'm struggling to see if it's going to be able to hold interest for the whole run of episodes without the thing. Yeah, Kunk on Earth, that's the one. I'm struggling to see how it's going to continue doing the same thing for 5 episodes or however long it is without getting old, because I found that it skipped around a lot. And I'm enjoying the conceit of it. It's funny to watch her say insane things to actual experts and then watch the experts try to decide how polite they need to be. But yeah, I've only seen the first one so far. To summon the many-faced devourer a second time, am I going to need to gather the scrolls and bones again? I'm not sure. I'm sorry. Una didn't drop the first time. I haven't done that in a long time. Is that a real node? It is a real node. I think I turned off my item highlight at some point. Want the Mighty Caravan Burrito Sword. It needs to be consumed in doses, but it's pretty funny. I forget what she said that really got me last time. It jumps around a lot, and maybe it needs to because they only have so much material about any one given thing. And I know that it's not an actual, you know, documentary that's trying to teach me real things about things. But it seems to I'm trying to find a thread in it that I think I'm struggling to find. I'll watch another one and see how it works out. I don't know if I would say hard to watch. I'm just trying to figure out what the continued draw is. You know, normally there's some amount of like tension in a scripted work like that where there's I don't know, something that you want to find out or some reason to find out what's going to happen next, which would imply that it's not just the same thing that's happened already. Not so much secondhand embarrassment. That too, a little bit. I guess it's unclear to me how much the experts on the show know about what they were getting into. Usually gets me with mockumentaries. Ever watched The Ballad of Buster Scruggs? It's a Coen Brothers Western movie. I have not seen that. Some things on TV referred to as train wreck TV. Can't look away even if it's not great. Yeah, sometimes I'll enjoy reality TV in that way, where you'll see like kind of a trashy reality show and you'll see people interacting with each other just saying the most insane things, but they both have a track record of behaving in this way, so you kind of feel like everybody's on the same level of expectations. And then I feel like you can kind of enjoy it just in the they said what. But when it's I don't know, I don't like watching people like try to Like when people do fake interviews on the street with like normal people who are unclear about what they're getting into, that stresses me out. I don't like watching people try to figure out what style of social situation has happened to them, because it just looks uncomfortable. But then again, a lot of TV that is supposed to look like it's happening organically is scripted, so. I'm gonna stand up and take a real short break. When I come back, I bet you anything we can get 60 and start Dragonflight. I have no way. First of all, hi. Second of all, I have no way to show you this. But underneath my desk, I have this sort of like foam footrest situation that I thought would make it easier for me to sit like a normal person, and it doesn't. But It's like a half moon. So it's got a flat side on the bottom that sits on the floor. And then it's kind of like a speed bump, but made out of foam. And then covered in like some kind of like a nylon fabric. I don't know. And sometimes like the cat will sit underneath the desk next to it and like rest her chin on it, which is pretty normal. She likes having little head pillows. But what she's currently done is she is sitting fully up, as cats do, perched on top of the crescent of this half moon thing, which looks like it takes a fair amount of balance. Never underestimate cats and their propensity to just sit on top of things even if they don't fit very well. Kitty core workup. Kitty cat got skills. I have one of them ended up just getting a foot stall. What's a foot stall? I used to have like this thing I used to call my gas pedal that was like a tilting metal footrest to change the angle that the feet would sit on. If I fits, I sits. Happened to the cat cam. I retired it because generally speaking, the cat was never in her bed. And she was usually on my chair with me if she was in the room at all. And I felt like a lot of extra clutter on the screen to have what was effectively a carpet camera. So I sheared down to one cam for the time being. Maybe in a future life, future world, especially if I had like a reliable pet to include on the screen, I would bring it back. I do have the camera still, but for the time being, we've simplified. Long ongoing project to level Druid only by gathering notes, fishing, pet battles, and discovering areas. How's it going? Have Drink follow Kira around with the camera. Reliable co-host. Mm-hmm. Put it under the desk, very comfy. Yeah. I think my trouble with sitting upright is not to do with ergonomics. I have a very nice chair. It's highly adjustable. I've looked at all of the different guides, and I've got my monitor height is adjustable. I've looked into it. I also have this problem when just sitting. Like, don't get me wrong. I can just sit on a chair with my feet on the floor and sit up straight. I just don't like it. And if I'm comfortable, I generally won't do it. I will generally revert to gremlin position given half a chance to, which this on stream is about as close to sitting like a normal human being as I'm gonna get. And I will often kind of shift to either put my feet underneath me or put them up or like, you know, sit cross-legged or whatever it is. Something. Sitting still's not in the brief. There we go. Correctathia pug last night that drained my soul. Sitting's hurting my back and my hips. Yeah, it's an important thing, especially if you're going to spend a bunch of time at the desk. It's an important thing to be aware of because it's easy to damage things over time, and it's very hard to fix them. Oh, there's a rat. There's a rare. The rat. I've been jumping around between books a bit because I've been spending too much time reading because I've been trying to sleep and not sleeping. So I'll read for longer than I normally do. And then I think, well, I should switch books so I don't burn through this one completely. And then I'll find a different one and read that for a while. And I had some thought about wondering whether it was a good idea, and I haven't decided yet, if it's a good idea to acquire and read copies of like some of the kids' books that I had as a kid. Animorphs was the title that came to mind, but there were also Goosebumps books. There were probably different fantasy series that I could pick up again. Oh no, not this quest. Anything but this. Animorphs is free nowadays. Oh, I must be looking in the wrong spot. It was $4 a book on the interface that I was on, but I was just there. I was on the iBooks store. Hour at the desk, 20 minutes playing Beat Saber, switch it up. Animorphs was my jam. I was surprised to see that they were pretty short, and I guess maybe a lot of children's books were fairly short, or maybe it's just relative to some of the longer fantasy novels that I've had handy. But like under 200 pages. I read any Coho books? Like about salmon? It's possible that I have, but I'm not familiar with the acronym, or it's possible that I haven't. Or not acronym, but, you know, the term. Animorphs PDFs online with the author's blessing. Oh, okay. I mean, if she gets the $4 from buying the book for $4, I feel like I wouldn't mind doing that either. Oh, Colleen Hoover. Oh, I see. So not about salmon. No, I haven't read any of them. I've seen them online because they are always topping bestseller lists, and I've seen a lot of people complaining about them, which has led me to believe that this may be too much. Lord Dagda, I haven't read any of that either, I don't think. How does one dissolve oozes? Apparently with electricity, and also with great difficulty. Let's go back to the village and turn in what we got so far. Chinook novelettes. I mean, I'm sure somebody out there has written stories about salmon. You know, we've got stories about Jack London spent a bunch of years writing about wolves, living wolf lives. Kenneth Opel wrote a bunch of stories about bats doing bat things. Someone out there has written about salmon. Do you shave your head again, or do you have really slow growing hair? I've been cutting my hair once a week, so I've shaved it probably 6 times in total now, 5 or 6. I have very fast growing hair that needs a lot of upkeep, but I like the mow. Jack London was some of the first stuff I ever read. Fell in love with wolves. Julie and the Wolves contributed too. Yeah, who's counting? Apparently. I loved Jack London books and wolves so much as a child that I thought I was going to revolutionize my life by learning how to sleep like a wolf, which meant not sleeping, but sleeping in very tiny naps and then waking up to look around to make sure there was no danger, and then nestling back in to go back to sleep. I would pretend to sleep like a wolf in my bedroom as a child, and I would be very tired when I'd go to school the next day. Every single school project in Wolves through elementary. I did at least one of them. I also did one in Australia. I don't remember what the deal was. It was one of those things where you get like a piece of poster board and then you type up some paragraphs and then you tape them there. It's like a Wikipedia article with more cardboard. What are we saying? I'm 57 and a bit. I've long since ceased getting I think I want to leave this zone. I think that I will be better served if I skip to maybe here. It's going to be a bit of a flight to get there, but pasting pictures of it, little typed up blurs, glitter or stickers. Yeah. It's a shame that doesn't pass for content anymore. That was fun. I love a good excuse to use a glue stick. There's a chapter about a falling whale. Sleep patterns like that. In practice, it just gives most people hallucinations. Yeah. People will do all manner of things in pursuit of trying to optimize their productivity to greater or lesser effect. Julie of the Wolves sounds familiar, but I couldn't tell you anything about it. I don't know whether or not I'd read it. I could go for reading Jack London again, but I remember I enjoyed them, but they also kind of bummed me out. They were never about... There was 2 books. There was White Fang and there was Call of the Wild, and they were both kind of the same story, but in reverse. Not 100%, but to my 9-year-old brain anyways, they seemed like the same story, but backwards. And, you know, they were never really about nice things happening to doggies. Kit Katsu, thank you for the 19-month resub. Hello, Hazel. Hello. Recently learned that naps don't work on everybody. She was running away from an arranged marriage, got lost, was taken in by wolves, and was obsessed with the idea of living with wolves. That sounds vaguely familiar. I may have come across it. I feel like somebody would have given it to me. I was as obsessed with wolves as anybody else. Wolves. Eagles. Not so much bears. I don't know how bears missed me. Bears would have been more available. Talk about horse girls. The thing about horse girls is that unless you had family or you lived around people that had horses, there was no being a horse girl without the horse girl budget. Horses are expensive. Even if you don't own the horse or own the place where the horse is stabled, just there's no part of engaging with horses unless you are volunteering to muck out stables and just look at them. There's no part of it that's not expensive. Wolves, at least you can kind of just enjoy from a distance. Do you think all shamans grew up as wolf kids? I think that if I had been exposed to horses enough at a young enough age, I 100% could have done the horse girl thing just because I like animals, man. I mean, I feel like everybody likes animals. It's kind of like saying I like puppies and pizza and ice cream, like duh. But, I don't know, as a kid, but also these days. I haven't really met people that I didn't know before since moving here, but you better believe I've met the cats. I know a lot more about the cats and the dogs and the birds and the raccoons and this one big rat that I saw this one time that are in these places that I live than any of the people that live here, which is, I don't know. I don't know why that is, but I like the animals. Do I like pineapple on pizza? Would you believe I ordered a cheese pizza and they accidentally gave me a cheese pizza that had pineapple on it? And I ate it anyways. I didn't really mind. I don't hate pineapple on pizza. I just don't usually seek it out, but it wasn't what I had ordered. And I thought, there are people that would burn this place to the ground for a mistake like that. Silverwind Refuge. Yeah, sure. Here, we're gonna dump a bunch of these quests just to get them out of the way. Yeah, I'm not anti-pineapple, but I don't seek it out. I had some fresh pineapple just in a bowl last night. It was very good. Very juicy. I read something about how because of enzymes in pineapple, while you're digesting it, it's also digesting you, and I thought that's only fair. You know, it's not often we give our fruit a real chance. Would your farm have a place for a horse or two? Probably not. I think I would be lacking such a great amount of experience and knowledge about horses to get started with them this late. I would most likely need to meet people that know about horses if I wanted to begin spending time with them. And the whole thing is quite a big time and money commitment, and I would prefer to spend that time and money with dogs and cats and maybe some fish, that kind of thing. The pineapple was on top of the cheese. Favorite animal of all time? That's difficult. That's a hard thing to say. I have a real soft spot for cats. I love cats. This will surprise none of you. I love cats. New raid tier sets, they look especially really good. When was the last time a fish plowed the back 40? Oh. Went to town on a pineapple mouth blood. I love dogs. I love dogs too. I love dogs too. I also really like fish. I'm a bit of a strange person in that I enjoy keeping fish as pets in aquariums, but I also like going fishing for fish to then eat, which you'd think would be mutually exclusive, but they're different types of fish in different sort of situations, so I've made my peace with that. I like watching birds. I don't want to own birds, but I like seeing them outside. I like seeing big birds and figuring out, is that an eagle? Is that a raptor? Like, well, eagles are raptors, but is that an eagle or is that a vulture? I like looking at the corvids and being like, is that a raven or is that a crow? What's it doing? Why is it coming over here? What does it want? I like trying to figure out what all the different little songbirds and finches and you know, flickers and downy woodpeckers are. I like seeing the little rodents as long as they're not in my house. Yeah, we get vultures here. We get them in big batches sometimes. They're, you'll see the occasional bald eagle, or like a pair of bald eagles hanging out, but vultures you see in groups of like 10, 20, 30. I think high 30s was the highest I counted once. They were after something. It was pretty cool. Yeah, I have Merlin Bird ID is the app that I use to try and figure out what birds are which. Sometimes it's a bit tough because even with my new glasses and even with a pair of binoculars, sometimes I just don't see them all that good. Sandy. That's awesome. Love birds of prey. I've started on more than one occasion. I've seen a bald eagle in town, and that's weird. That's not supposed to happen. I guess it does because I've seen it, but I don't know what the hell they're doing up this far. I live in a pretty urban area. Oh, hey, there's a rare. And eagles are generally more... usually if you're looking for bald eagles, you want to go hang out near, like in quiet areas near bodies of water. So like parks, beaches, rivers, lakes are good. I often would see bald eagles while I was spending the day at the lake fishing. But in town, just flying down Main Street, well, if you say so. Sound recording thing's fun. Dragonflight uses a lot of black-capped chickadee noises. Had to Google what to call a group of vultures. Well, because it changes. It depends on where they are and what they're doing. A group of vultures can be a kettle of vultures. It can be a wake of vultures. And then there's one other word for it, and I forget. I forget what the third one is. One of them is for when they've landed. One of them is for when they're flying. And then I don't know what the third one is for when they're on their phones waiting for the day to be over. Spooky. Nearly 58. Downtown's not that far from water. No, but it's busy enough that it seems odd for a bird like that to be here. It'd be like seeing a heron in town, which I incidentally did see one time. Not all the time, but once in the year that I've been here. I guess year and a bit now. I saw a heron just flying over some apartment buildings, and that was also very weird. They normally like much quieter, less towny areas, but I don't know. Heron's gonna do what Heron's gonna do. Landed vultures are called a committee. That's what it was, a committee. I think a wake might be when they're feeding, and then a kettle must be what they are in the air if they're a committee when they're landed. I thought that was I thought that was very funny when I heard that. Furball gears. That brings me to 58. I wonder if it's going to give me like a breadcrumb quest. Should I take Thunderstorm? Calls down a bolt of lightning. Knocks stuff back. 30 seconds. It's not too bad. Sure. Does it do a lot of damage? No, it doesn't. Have to relog for the quest? Let's try reloading, seeing if that does anything. I wasn't sure if it would give me a quest at 58 or not. Yeah, the videos with the eagle using the hawk sounds. Once you've heard what an actual bald eagle genuinely sounds like, it's a hard thing to forget, and you'll notice it when you hear it because it doesn't sound anything like what you would expect a big raptor like that to sound. They sound like seagulls. They sound like timid seagulls. They sound like seagulls that are speaking up in class because they know the answer, but they're not 100% sure they can get away with it. And they're not convinced that anybody heard them when they first started to speak. Like it's a very underwhelming sound, which is why they replace it in film. People don't believe that that's what they sound like. Yeah. We get some big seagulls. I mean, I guess seagulls are big everywhere. I guess I'm constantly surprised by how big seagulls are, but every now and then I will see just like a tank of a seagull. Like, holy moly, that is a big gull. I love seagulls. Don't get me wrong, they can be nuisances, but I'm sure we're bothering them too. And they're just so, I love the clean lines in their feathers. I love the delineation between the different colors in their plumage. I like that some of them are just big. Big, strong birds, not afraid of some wind. Because we get big wind, you know? Do I ever listen to a flock of seagulls? I haven't listened to it. I was under the impression that it was a haircut. Be some chonky gulls. I feel bad for collecting furball gears. I feel like I'm gonna have to make some apologies for this in 10:07. Waiting for the bus in the afternoons, downtown Anchorage. Gang of pigeons strutting around. So cute and fat. You don't get pigeons too often here. I'm sure there are some. I guess I'm not sure, actually. There must be. I would see pigeons occasionally in Portland and the suburbs thereof. I thought they were cute, too. Any wood ducks? There were some at Beacon Hill Park. They had a lot of different types of ducks, but I noticed some that were, I think, wood ducks. I love all the ducks, but wood ducks, and then there's one other type that's like a really unique and like beautiful kind of feathers. Wood ducks on his bookshelves. The Chihuahua of seagulls. Alright, what are you gonna drop for me? Oh, I got a shimmering robe. Oh, my bags are filling up. I haven't cleared out my bags in a little bit. I was gonna do it at the end of, I guess, getting to 60. Some tin over there. It's getting a little spicy. I also have a bunch of like room cloth and netherweave bags equipped because I refused to send myself any gold to buy bags, and now I have like 2k gold. I could afford a couple of bigger ones. Collective noun for ducks is a raft. I like visiting ducks. I have never fed them, at least not in my adult memory. I would visit ducks at different parks. Basically any park that had ducks, I would make a note of, and I would prefer those ones because it was just kind of fun to go watch them swim around and do duck things. But I never fed them. I know people do that here. I don't know what I would feed a duck. Birdseed? Sunflowers? Peanuts? Not a fan of Bagnon, surprised? Even, you can do a combined mega bag in modern interface now, and I always liked having separate bags. I couldn't tell you why. You should learn to identify the 50 plus different types of seagulls. I should. Why? Neighbor turned his little running water pond thing off the duck's left. Bunch of ducks for pets when I was a kid. Yeah, I guess people do farm ducks around here too. I walked by this one house that was in kind of like the rich part of town where everything is like a manor. And they had like fancy hedges and a big wrought iron gate. And they had like fancy geese. And I don't know how I could explain why I felt. Maybe it was just the manor and the fence that was making me think these are fancy geese and not just like regular geese. But they were like a bright white, very glamorous. It was a very glamorous goose that I saw. How you doing? That's gonna give me some org rep. That's nice. This should be pretty easy. It's just one boss to go do. How am I doing? I'm almost to revered, at least. I may not make it all the way to exalted while leveling, but I'll get a good chunk of the way there. Goose that you feel you need to dress up to impress as you walk past. Yeah. They had very long necks. Like Francois the chicken, but a goose. I don't know if there must be like fuzzy geese in the same way that you can have fuzzy chickens. I had a period of time when I was daydreaming about having a house with enough land to be able to kind of do some hazel chickens, and I can't decide whether or not I've given up on that dream. I guess it's going to kind of depend on what type of yard and how close the neighbors are and how I feel about poultry and livestock at the time that I finally scraped together the money to do it. Have you heard that from the Worgen? 10-1, they get a toggle? I didn't hear that. That's awesome. That's a big deal. Hello, Calicel. How are you doing today? I go back and forth between, and it's going to depend on what I can afford, which the answer is going to be probably not a whole lot. But I go back and forth between wanting privacy and like a fair amount of space so that you don't have like neighbors that can see in your windows and you have like a lot of room that you can use to garden or grow food or have animals or whatever. And then on the flip side of that, I think some days I'm tired. I'm not the kind of person that's going to get help managing this land. Maybe it would be best if I just had like a little square of a yard and then I just made the most of it. You know, maybe that would be a lot easier to keep under control. You just, you know, forget about the chickens. Find somebody that has chickens, befriend them, help out with their chickens. And then just, you know, take your dog for a walk around the lake and call it a day. That sounds wise. But then sometimes you see the property that's like You know, it's got like the acreage and it's got the different the different amounts of treedness and hilliness, and it's got like the creek that runs through the back. Well, it's a seasonal creek, so I guess sometimes it dries up, and then, you know, when the rains come, it's probably going to be a bit of a liability. But, you know, imagine having your own little creek. You could go touch it, and then your finger would be wet. Quazillion IRL gold. Some of them. It's not necessarily Quazillion gold if you're willing to go live like in the woods. The trick is the internet is not very good out there. And my ability to continue earning money in a way that would allow me to pay a mortgage is a little bit contingent on me having internet. Can do paper boat races. Everything likes to eat chickens and eat a super coop. Yeah, especially if you're going to live in like a wooded area that's got not just like, you know, weasels and stuff, but actual bears. If you ever want to feel better about the things that you're worrying about by reading about somebody else worrying about other things, you go online and you Google around and look for forum posts about people discussing how to try to keep their chickens safe from the local bears, and that always does it for me. Do a lot with a tiny space and yard. Grew veggies in our balcony a few years back, including court. That's why you need the creek. That's a stream right there. The weasels constantly raided their chicken coop. Yeah. The predators are a real problem that I feel like is a genuine stress. I can see a world where I'm living a life where I wake up every morning and I'm just filled with dread because I'm going to go check on all of my animals and see if any of them have been brutally dismembered in the night. And that's not such a fun day. And if you just decide not to have chickens in the first place, you might be able to spare yourself from that angst. Buy potato seeds, get those started when the snow melts. I want to YOLO some lettuce seeds into the ground and see if it'll freeze again. Basically, I don't think it's gonna, but you never know. It snowed in May before, so who's to say? Wake up, boss music already playing. We are halfway through 58. I feel pretty confident I can get to 60. Maybe not get a whole lot done at 60. Why is it called iceberg lettuce? Nice to see you. Hello, the wireless god. How you doing? Usually, I will admit, if I'm growing lettuce or spinach or anything like that, my end game is to put it on sandwiches. I'm not eating salads. I've tried. I've given up. The most I'll give you is a good wrap. You know, like a lettuce heavy sandwich encased in some form of tortilla. It is mostly on sandwiches. Canada does, for the most part, do daylight savings. I constantly see the news articles about how we're definitely going to stop soon, and I will believe it when I see it. It's contingent, I think, on parts of the states giving up on daylight savings because we don't want to be mismatched, I suppose. I don't know. It's a big pain in the butt. Lettuce in the wrap, not lettuce as the wrap. Lettuce as the wrap enrages me because I wanted it to be carbs and then it was lettuce. And this, I find this to be offensive to my culture of person that likes bread. Good thing to grow is peppers. Peppers are yum. I love growing peppers and I don't like eating them. I only like growing them. I want to grow the spicy peppers. I want to grow the bell peppers, and I find them to be, at the risk of offending people, kind of mid as a vegetable at best. I like lots of things, but peppers are not really top of the list, but they're so fun to grow because they're all shiny and I don't know. I had a place I lived once where the back deck had a lot of like warm sunshine in the summer. And I just, I didn't know anything about gardening, but I got some seeds off of a rack at Fred Meyer and I got some flower pots and some potting soil. And I just kind of planted and watered, and then it turned into pepper plants. And then I got a couple peppers, and I thought that was just like the coolest thing I'd ever seen in my entire life. I don't play classics. I couldn't tell you. Alaska passed something about daylight savings time. Not started yet. More peppers for me. You could argue that I should grow the peppers and then I should make like salsa or jalapeno cheddar bagels or hot sauce or something like that. But I think all of that implies a higher degree of effort that I'm about to put into anything in my life right now. Lettuce wraps in a sandwich shop, they don't work. It just falls apart. Yeah, I think that the tensile strength of lettuce is lacking, among other things. I like hot sauce, but mostly just Cholula. Every other hot sauce is a disappointment because it's not Cholula. So if I was going to make one, I would basically just be trying to dupe it. Mom has frozen salsa from all the tomatoes we grew last year. I could see myself getting into like a canning and preserving phase, but the trouble is I see it being a phase. I don't see myself sticking with a yearly rhythm of canning and preserving. I see myself buying all the stuff and getting all the jars and sorting out how to do it once, and then making like 4 jars of salsa, eating them, and then never doing it again. And then I just have like a gigantic stock pot in all of these jars that then I suppose become hipster drinking glasses for when I'm having water in my living room. Do it once a year? I guess so, but when I remember my grandmother doing it would take her like days, multiple full days, and she made big batches of stuff, but she would do lots of different types of preserves. She would do salsa, and she would do probably not hot sauce, but salsa for sure, because everybody loved the salsa, and people would have like a half a jar's worth in a bowl at a time, so she would make just tons of it. She would do jam. She would do different like jellies. But it would take so much time, and I feel like eventually she gave up because she was just sick of the whole thing. Make a shaman for the first time. What spec should I use? Don't know where to start. I'm playing Ellie right now, and I'm finding that pretty easy. Enhance is pretty fun, too. It depends on if you'd rather be hitting things in melee or casting on things in ranged. Girl canned raw chicken. Oh, no. Have I continued my side vlog watching? Yeah, I just watched the one where they're stuck in the parking garage and they can't find the car. And Elaine has a pair of goldfish and she's worried they're going to die. I remember, it was literally last night. I saw this and I thought, first of all, just 2 fancy goldfish out of nowhere on a whim seems poorly conceived. But, you know, that's kind of how people get fish sometimes. And then they're not going to just die in 2 hours. People like ship fish and stuff. I guess maybe the bags weren't as high tech then. I don't know. Steamed rare chicken for her BF. I won't pretend to be highly and fully educated on food safety. But as somebody that just doesn't, I'm a pescatarian, so I don't eat chicken, beef, or pork, and I try to avoid bugs whenever possible. Parts of it, I'm not saying that there's no way that I can give myself food poisoning. And certainly fish has its own risks, but I generally will cook it, you know. Oh, gosh. This is a mess and I'm leaving. Absolutely leaving. We are halfway through 58. We have regrets. One of those shows that makes more sense after having lived in the US. I think it would make more sense after having lived in the early 90s. A lot of the premise of the show has to do with, I don't know, communication issues. Like there's multiple episodes now that would have been completely negated by people being able to not just have smartphones, have cell phones. Can't wait to go fishing this year. Aired on TV and I thought it was funny. Became more funny after having lived a year in the US and lived the little things. I'm finding it more funny now than I did last time I saw it because I tried it as a child last time. I was probably like between the ages of like 8 and 12 or 8 and 15 and I didn't get a lot of it. It makes a little bit more sense now. It's funny to me how old they seemed at the time when I was watching them, and how now they're like my age. They're like early, like when the show begins, they're like late 20s, early 30s, something like that. And and they look, you know, because of the fashion of the age, they look a lot older than they seem, but then they're acting the same way that somebody my age might act. I wonder how much gold all these herbs are worth. I feel like I've picked up a fair amount of iron and gold thorn and some stuff I can sell. I think I'm just getting distracted by herbs on my way over. It's not bad experience. Horror films that couldn't happen today because of modern communication. Nowadays, they're trying to make horror films that happen because of modern communication. And sometimes I think that must work. And then sometimes it's got to just be really goofy. Oh, there's a chest over there. That's going to be good for experience. Hi. Hello, Catacorn. How you doing? I think one thing that sitcoms of that era, and I guess a lot of eras, kind of portray that I don't relate to as much, that I don't know if it's just a sign of the times thing, or just because they structure it in a certain way for it to work as TV. But on both shows like Friends and Seinfeld, you have groups of friends that just kind of walk into each other's apartments, open up the fridge, grab some, like a drink, and just like sit down as though it was fully planned. And I lived through, you know, the early 2000s and the late 90s. Maybe it's because I didn't live in New York. Maybe that's the trick there, but I never once in my life have I lived like that. Oh, I got a BOE called Beazel's Basher. It is a mace. It's an appearance I've already collected. And I'm kind of curious as to whether or not that's actually worth anything. I guess I don't have TSM installed right now, but I can check the auctionist and see if any of them are up. Doesn't say. None of them on right now. If I already know the appearance, there's a possibility that it shares an appearance with something that's quite easy to get, like a quest item, so it may not be all that exciting. All right, what are we saying? I could probably go get some decent quests done actually up by Zormgar Outpost. Those will probably have some org rep too. I'm revered with org now. That's something. Here, I'll keep questing, but I'll probably hide the the rep bar because it's overlapping my action bars. You'll sell it for 10 gold. No, if it's going for like 20k, I might sell it for like 200 gold. They never raided the fridge, but they would just show up at the house randomly. I think that it looks appealing when you're watching it on TV, but in practice, I would hate it. I don't know what the preferred and correct cadence of social interaction is for me, but I feel like unexpected and at random is not it. Never is also not great, but there's got to be a middle ground somewhere. You need standing places where you can expect people to be, where you don't have to go, but you could. That's the beauty of things like gaming discords, where you just kind of like hop into them and there's usually people there and you can just kind of like hang out for a bit and then leave. They've kind of taken that function. But yeah, otherwise it feels like it's a lot of pressure. It's like a big thing to arrange a thing to see people for. You need someplace where everybody knows your name. I have some place where all of the cats see me coming. That's about as good. Where did I used to frequent that I became a regular at? People used to know me at the fish store I used to go to. I used to visit the local aquarium store often enough, because anytime I was in the area, even if I didn't, like if I needed some, you know, water conditioner or some fish food or whatever, I would go there. But also I would go there just to look if I was in the area. And I got like a lot of aquarium plants and, you know, snails and fish and whatever there. But I would go, not all the time, but there was a while, there was a summer where I was going probably at least once a week. And they recognized me there. they knew more or less what was going on. In my 20s, married to first hubby, his friends would randomly show up, all one always in spaghetti night, and we called them our adopted single dudes in my 20s and the 90s. The vibe is very much that, roommates and not people in different apartments, yeah. I think, at least for Seinfeld, I don't think Kramer is intended to be an example of a normal person. I think everybody in the show just kind of accepts that Kramer is bananas, and they just kind of, they've all made their peace with that. Oh, this is just a pet battle tamer. That's not what I thought it was going to be at all. I guess I could do it. Defeat, yeah, in a pet battle. Okay. I suppose I could. End up being recognized by people working there. Get superb service as a result. Yeah, I haven't been to enough small... I've been to some small shops since I've been here, but I don't usually go to them all the time. I don't shop as much as I used to. In my 20s, I spent a fair amount of time, like, because I would pursue one hobby after another. So, like, if I was in a plant hobby, I would be at the garden center pretty often. In the midst of my fish phase, I was at the aquarium store pretty often. I would have the places that I would go to get supplies for whatever thing I was working on, and those would be the places I was a regular at. But recently, I've been just not shopping. You know, last summer when I was fishing a lot, I spent a fair amount of time in the fishing section at the hardware store, but that was about the end of it. What do you have? You have level 5. We can probably just do this. Love going to the local reptile store, my people. I used to go to a game store in my late teens, kind of early 20s, that I lived nearby. And they had, it was kind of like a comic book store situation where they had, you know, you could buy comics, you could buy, they had like some clothing and fan merchandise and stuff, but they also had game tables and they would do game nights and stuff. And I would always see people there, and I would go there and I would shop there, and I would be like, this would be a great place to meet some people to hang out with. And I never did. No one ever spoke to me, and I never worked up the courage to speak to anybody else. I never got close enough to the posters to find out if they were public invite or if they were just, you know, I never showed up to anything. I never had the nerve for it. I feel like it's difficult to break your way into friend groups as an outsider, because as a friend group, it's difficult to want to be open to outsiders because you're just kind of doing your thing with the people that you know already. I thought there were going to be more quests out here. I guess I can go poke around the outpost. No, I didn't have my magic decks with me. Computers in the back. That's where I met most of my lifelong friends. It's okay to be your own friend group. The cats are my friend group. Are you still on top of that thing? You are not. She's moved on. I don't know where she's gone. Maybe she was just balancing for a while to prove that she could. This is probably more quests than I need. I only need like one more level. I'm a half a bar away from being through with this one, so just about there. Preferred store for makeup. Oh, that sounds nice. I'm glad that no matter where I live, I'm able to hang out with friends on on Discord and in games and in WoW and stuff. I don't think it completely replaces having an in-person social life, but I have family that I can visit, and that I'll spend some time with in person that are nearby, and then I'm lucky to have a friend group online that, you know, we'll play games, or we'll do Mythic Plus, or we'll you know, hang out and look for something to do on Steam, that kind of thing. That's nice. Is there an escort quest here? Oh, there's a rare. Probably off to my right. Lady Vespia. Yep, there she is. Oh yeah. I failed one of them. I'll make my peace with it. Ah, so 59 is where it kicked in with the Dragonflight quest. The question is, do I want to go do that, or do I want to noodle around out here for another, like, 1 level's worth of time? How much is 1 level, really? Hi, Hazel. Hello, Mean Beans. How you doing? 20-minute or whatever respawn time. That I don't remember a lot of the details of. How much noodling is 1 level? I mean, it kind of depends. I've gotten halfway through a number of quests before deciding that they were too long for me, so it depends on how good my follow-through is. One of those people who equate online friends to real-life friends. Fine with social interaction being via Discord and online games. Yeah. It's nice because it sticks even when you move. I've moved a couple of times in the last couple of years, and I appreciate being able to kind of do the same things in the same nights as long as I have my an internet connection to my PC, which is good. Ready Players 2. So I'll get a ring. I think I have some vague understanding of getting that ring in, like, Classic or something. Like, it was a good item. Alright. Is he going? Are you sure that you're ready? If we do not have a group of your allies to aid us, we will surely fail. Listen, I got Dwayne. Oh yeah, he's going. You want to get on my rocket? No? Ashenvale music makes me nostalgic. I feel like this is the same music you get just like in Orgrimmar. You know what I can do is I can post auctions while he's wandering his way over to where it is that we're going. I feel like he's got quite a long walk. Here's a sword that I could learn from Mog. I'm just gonna vendor most of these greens, I think. Save some time. I'll look into the blue. Any meat, I think, is a pretty safe vendor. Imagine if I wanted to get the 60 shaman from revered to exalted with org with a tabard. You think we could do that within, like, I don't know, an hour? I don't have any grip on how long it takes when you're just like running the old dungeons anymore. I don't know how high they scale. I don't know if it would be faster if I got her to level 70 first. Because, you know, 21st is when we're getting 1007. Plater is my nameplates. Hazel, when did kids get cell phones when you were growing up? Well, it kind of depended on the kid. It was also, cell phones were just kind of becoming ubiquitous around when I was becoming a teenager. So it was sort of like, it was somewhat new technology. 35, you'd be 35 to do cat sounds? Give it like 5k rep per run? Okay. So that's pretty fine. That's reasonable then. Yeah, they had less functionality. There were certainly people that had cell phones in my high school, but it wasn't everybody. And it was not only a do parents trust their kids with phones thing, but also, you know, do parents want to pay for a cell phone for their kids? There's this idea that kids didn't need phones and that we were just going to use them to call our respective crushes and then say nothing to them. But a lot of parents wanted their kids to have phones so that they could, like, call or text to get picked up somewhere, or to, like, you know, find out where child is when you have not seen child for a few days. So I didn't get a phone until I was probably like 16 or 17, and my parents weren't super thrilled, but I'd saved up my like birthday money or whatever, and I bought it myself, so they decided to allow it even if they weren't going to fund it. And I would say most of my friends had something by then, but it was a flip phone. It didn't have like the typey keyboard yet. You were texting on the number keys. I liked that phone. It was red. 30, right around junior high, the Razr phone was booming. Didn't have one. Yeah, and then when I went off to university for my entire single semester that I went, I did I got one of those blue things with the slide out keyboards. I want to say it was an LG Rumor. I think that's accurate. And I thought that was extremely cool. It didn't have the snap shut anymore, but it had a little keyboard that could slide out that I thought was for sure mandatory because I figured there was no way I was ever going to learn. People had iPhones, but iPhones were really expensive for a while. Where on earth are you going? iPhones were really expensive, and getting service for them and getting a plan for them was very expensive as well. So it wasn't until a bit later that people other than just the wealthier ones had the touchscreen phones. Kids started getting cell phones, cheap ones, myself included. Yeah, I guess iPhones are still expensive now. They the rise of leasing plans for them, like getting a cell phone contract that includes leasing the phone rolled in, I feel like has expanded their access, and then also the fact that they've been out so long now that you can get like an older one or you can get a secondhand one that still works. It doesn't mean that they're not expensive, but it means that more people have them than would have had when they were like brand new. Yeah, cell service is still ludicrous here. I won't tell you how much I pay, but I'll tell you it's stupid. And I'm sure there's solutions to that, but it's fine. I'll look into it when my contract's up. What do you mean failed? I've been here the whole... Hang on. There's Vorsha. But I think my guy died. Oh, for heaven's sake. I'm gonna have to fight this anyways. My guy's gone. I lost him. I was too busy reminiscing about the little blue phone. 5 minutes well spent, right? I don't think I'm gonna try and do it again. I think there's a possibility that the best thing I can do here is just get 4 more heads, turn them in, and then go take myself to the Dragon Isles and leave all of this behind. Yeah, I know. I guess we are almost finished here anyway. It would have been fine if I had saved him. I didn't realize he was in such danger. I put a target marker on him, but I stopped paying attention for a bit. Pre-Apple time, and there's a lot of variety in phones. Yeah, I couldn't speak too much to that anymore. Oh hey, it's a different rare, I think. I haven't looked at phones in a couple of years. I bought this one 4 summers ago, something like that, and it does the job, so I haven't really figured out what they're doing with phones anymore. They reached a point where they didn't have anything that was that appealing to me. Okay. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. That maybe. Mislash Hydro Oil. Can I just loot it? No. Maybe we don't worry so much about it. Hi, honey. I think she wants me to get up. We're almost done. Do another 10 minutes. The S21 Ultra. Is that a Samsung phone? Are they on 21 by now? Or is this something else and I'm totally off base? I had they're on 23 now? I had an S2. I got it from a mall cell phone kiosk on a whim. I was I was working, so I finally had a bit of disposable income, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna have a smartphone. I was working retail, and everybody had their phones with them on the sales floor. And when it was slow, I'd see other people like entertaining themselves on their phones, and I didn't really have anything I could do on mine. So I thought, you know what? Fine. I'll find out what the deal is. Got myself a Nest 2. Sometimes I would drop it and the battery would fly out and fly across the room. So this will take me vaguely to Orgrimmar. Oh, they skipped a bunch of numbers. Oh, okay, that makes more sense. I know that I got my first smartphone a long time ago, but I didn't feel like I missed 20 versions worth of them. Changed their numbering starting in 2020. Gotcha. Does it count if you level before the patch? For Heritage Armor, you can level before the patch. You can level whenever you like. Especially for non-allied race Heritage Armor, it doesn't even... You could race change a character as long as they get the appropriate reputation sorted out. I guess Org is this way. I changed my Hearthstone to Desolation Hold at some point. Let's clean up our general pack of quests here. Oh, there's a teleport. There's a teleport. What am I doing? I'm using the scroll. Betcha somebody's telling me about that. There we go. Remove from time walking campaigns. Yep, that's the thing. There's a cat. Is that true? Let me see. Let me take a look at this thing. Are you a kitty cat? Yeah? Hi. How you doing? You hungry? Sleepy? You bored? How can I help you? I think she's feeling a little cuddly. Bummer when Pokemon Go came out, old knockoff smartphone couldn't run it. The only time that I ever broke a phone screen was playing Pokemon Go. I think that's the one and only time I ever like shattered a phone screen and then I needed to go get it repaired. Kira, are you just pretending to be a cat? Meow once if true. The funny thing is I've met many cats. I have many cat acquaintances. But this is the only cat I've ever owned and spent a lot of time with. And I think she's skewing my perspective of what cats in general are like. Out of anger? No, I was out of distraction. I had the phone in one hand. I was walking. I had the dog, because I would always walk the dog while I was playing Pokemon Go. We would go out on adventures together looking for Pokemon. It was very cute, but I had the dog leash in the other hand, and I wasn't paying enough attention to see that the dog was trying to get somewhere, and I got off balance and I dropped the phone onto concrete. Yeah, kitty cat has longer hair than me. That's true. What am I farming? I'm leveling an alt to get Heritage Armor on eventually. I am also going to finish cleaning this up. We don't need this. What else can we get rid of here? Yeah. Yeah, she's really got the motor going. I played Pokemon Go as a prescription for my doctor. Get out of the house, move around a little. What would your dog have done against a Steelix? He liked the walks and he liked going to all the places that we hadn't been before, but he would not care for when I was just standing at a gym like fighting it and be like, why are we still here? Can I leave now? Can we go, please? I think he appreciated once I finally quit the game and we would just go for walks and just continue going. I'm not going to the Northern Stranglethorn. I'm not gonna do it. That's not what we're doing at all. We also don't need Silverpine Forest. I'd love to just get started in the Dragon Isles. Just make it to like the first spot on the Waking Shore would be good. Don't fall. Don't fall. It makes me nervous when you scratch and stand on like 3 legs when you're already perching on the arm of a chair. Hi. Battle for Azeroth. I thought I had the Dragonflight quest. How did I lose it? No, I'm not doing BFA. I wonder if Pokemon Go had a measurable impact on depression rates for the time it was big. Not Pokemon Stand around. I miss Joker too. How many mounts do I have? Somewhere in the range of 700. I can't pick favorites. There's too many. They're good mounts. They deserve better from me. I like the crab though. Snapback Scuttler, Sideways Crab from Nagitar Meta Achievement. That's a good one. I don't actually know where I go to start the Dragonflight quest. I'll be completely honest with you. I figured that the front would have it, and it turns out it did not. It had BFA and it had Shadowlands. I haven't done this on Horde, I don't think. I think this is my first character. What about the command board? No. Inside the keep, maybe? On the top near where the flight trainer is? Okay. Up by the portals. It's at the dock. Wrathy. That's a wide variety of answers. Let me go poke around. You want Darkmoon Faire. I'd hate to accidentally go to Nagitar, or not Nagitar, Vashir, you know? It gave me a breadcrumb quest at 59 though. Here, I'll relog. Be funny if you got the Shadowlands breadcrumb quest and not the Dragonflight one. I guess so. Yeah, maybe it's possible that it's not going to give it to me and I would need to get another level from something. That's weird, right? That it would be like, hey, there's new adventure. You want to get out of Chromie Time and port back to Orgrimmar so you can start it? Then you get to Orgrimmar and it's like, hey, you want to get back in Chromie Time? No. Journal's empty. Level 60 Darkmoon Faire. I think what I would probably do is tomorrow on stream just fire up like some dungeons. Cause yeah, this seems a little messy. This is a little bit awkward. Cause I'm pretty sure this is gonna be, there's gonna be a quest here and it's gonna be an old one. This is gonna be like, hey, you wanna go? New landmass has emerged off the coast of the Eastern Kingdoms. I have a feeling that is not the one that we're looking for. And then, yeah, up here. Can I just go? I might be able to just go. I'm gonna try that. I'm just gonna wait here, post some auctions, see if I can get away. I got 90 seconds, see if I can get away with just catching a boat and showing up. Who needs quests? I'll pick them up on the other side. Yeah, we're just gonna sneak in. I don't see why not. 25 gold. Nobody wants a ring. Can vendor that. What are we saying? I could probably do this with oh, I don't have TSM turned on right now. I was gonna say I could just do a big post scan, but yeah, we're gonna find out the answer to a lot of these questions about what we're allowed to do at 59. So far I leveled mostly just questing, couple dungeons, but mostly just questing in Kata era zones. Like classic Kata zones. I guess my heirlooms aren't scaling any farther until 10.1, which is kind of a while away. Well, there's a boat. At least I can do my auctions while I wait. It's nice. I appreciate that you can sell your dragon's teeth and your boar ribs to all of North America, so you don't have to wait for the one person that needs, like, wild steel bloom on your particular server to log on, decide that they want some. Anyone want deep rock salt? Okay. Bandit pants. Nope. That's a 14 gold deposit. We're vendoring that. I genuinely don't know what the value of this mace is. I guess I should like undermine journal it just on the off chance that it's super rare. I doubt it is. Otherwise I wouldn't have the appearance already. Undermine journal. Let me Google that one. It's called Beasel's Basher. 35 gold is the last price it was posted at. It sells for between 500 and 2,000. I think I'm gonna say 10 gold. I'll take 10 gold. Finished calendar for Lore Master. That was interesting. Yeah, you could make more when you were required to wait. But I wouldn't because I didn't have the patience, so it works out for me. How rich am I? 2,300 gold presently, which I think is pretty good given that we spent all of our gold not that long ago. Alright. I want to see containers, bags, sort by slots. So I could get 32 slot Wildercloth bags for 100 gold each. And I will do that. How many do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4? Sounds good, makes sense. And then I have the Simply Stitched reagent bag. And that's as good as it's getting until I get a Chronicloth one, which is only 4 slots. I'm not too worried about that. Can I ride a dragon riding mount? I can get onto it. Will it work? It will work. That's good. It's a good start. Let's spend my glyphs. I wish you could just kind of do this without all the clicking. I guess I'm very spoiled. I'm extremely spoiled. Should make sure I don't miss my port. I'm not used to doing this from the air. The Alliance does this on an actual boat in the water. I wonder what the profession unlocks are gated to, if anything. Because it looks like I could mine the Ceravite. Here, well, I was going to pick up the fishing, but I won't do it. Here, we'll set our hearth here. It does appear that I cannot pick up any quests yet, at least not right here. Can I kill the mobs? Maybe. Not easily. Not with, you know, I think the answer to that one is with great difficulty. I have to wait for the ship to dock. Getting rid of confirmation boxes for choosing glyphs in 10.1. Okay. That's good. Alright, can I mine the Ceravite? No, I need Dragon House mining to even mine it. Which is funny, because I think at 60 you can, I think at 60 you can mine them, but they just will only give you like one. Maybe I'm mistaken on that. Let me go look for... Oh, here we go. I've got a quest. Oh, that's to learn... Okay, so I can learn herb. Looks like I might be able to learn mining too. I just need to scrape together enough activities to just get me going. Where's the mining trainer? I feel like I've been down this road. I've figured this one out before. There's blacksmithing, and then I was always wanting the mining guy to be by the blacksmithing guy, and he's not. Maybe on the far side? Love of leveling via gathering is about to pay off. I think so. I think so, because if it looks like I'm gonna be able to gather and not necessarily do anything else for at least one level. You're tailoring. You're engineering. Trade goods. Somebody teaches mining. Somebody does. He's near the blacksmithing guy. The blacksmithing guy is right here. How near? Skinning over there. Oh, right here. Okay. Right by the rock. That would make sense. There we go. 100 gold for that. Kind of expensive. However, at least they let you dragon ride. I was a little worried I was going to be grounded. Excellent. And then, oh, there's an ore up there, but there's also an elite mob, and it's scary, and I'm scared. I don't think that's going to work. What else we got? This is the one that I killed last time. All right, how much experience are we talking? 1%. 1%, and that may have been with rested. We got all of 2 Ceravite ore, and I'm selling all of it. I used to have dreams that I would level up all my professions with all that stuff, and I'm over it. I'm selling it. Give me my 3 gold and let's call it a day. What about this one? Oh yeah, it's like 1%. 1% of this level at least per node. Not nothing. Look at this cantankerous hornswog. Doing it as well. There's a rare in there. Yeah, I think this is going to be how I'm... Because, I mean, I'm going to get my mining skill and my herb skill up. That'll be kind of nice. You can start doing quite a few things once you get to 25. You start spending your knowledge points and finding them. And I feel like having extra mining and herb... Obviously, you can get more herbs and ore if you are gathering them on the main character that has, you know, already invested all those profession points. But... if you were going to have professions in an alt, it doesn't take a whole lot of doing to keep, or to get some knowledge in gathering. Go back, just knock out 2 levels. Mm-hmm. Oh, does that give experience? Let's find out. Is this the awful one? This one's... no. No, this one's fine. Not so much with experience. Reputation, yeah. Head start of professions. We got saxifrage down there. I think I just enjoy mining and gathering in Dragonflight. I don't know what it is about it specifically. Oh, I wonder if I was getting experience because of first time gathers. Because I just got a piece of herb knowledge for gathering saxifrage for the first time. I wonder if that was why I got so much. Yeah, I need 92k experience to get through this level, and I'm getting still about 1% per. Yeah, I'm not mad at that. That'll work. No longer rested, still 1%. Ding for 60 pretty quickly. Yeah, so we're looking at another 60 nodes, but you can dragon ride at full speed with all of your dragon glyphs, including the ones that give you vigor back. You could, you know, you can turn on farm hut and whatnot. Plus, you're dealing with mining and herb nodes, not just one or the other. So, I think that. Oh, you know what I should do is I should see if there's any cheap equipment that I can buy just on the auction house, like mining and herbing accessories and tools to get like some extra deftness. Would be nice. Perception and finesse and all that. There's got to be some real cheap stuff that people make while they're leveling, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it'd be good. So let me see. Profession equipment. So let's look at mining first. And then just sort by price. I can get like an ore satchel for like 10 gold. That just has finesse on it. And then the pickaxe, 75 gold. Gives you 6 mining skill plus a random stat. Yeah, sure, we'll spring for the 346 version. And then there's going to be a helmet as well. 100 gold for a 332, 200 gold for a 346. Yeah. And then what about for Urbing? Because I have another 1,300 gold left. I'm keeping this character self-contained still, so I don't want to spend any gold that she didn't earn herself. This stuff's a bit more expensive. You can get like a real basic, and I know you get like you'll get a little baby version of one of these things from, wow, those are expensive. You get 50 finesse for that. The hat gives you deafness and perception. I might not worry about those just yet. Think 60, hit it, Veldraken. Yeah, it's not a bad strat. Sell the equipment for a lot. Apparently the herb stuff is still going for a decent chunk. I'm curious if even like the copper quality stuff will still sell for enough to kind of make this feel reasonable. If I wanted to post the stuff I've got so far, what are we saying here? It looks like the Ceravite's worth gold 43 each, so 30 gold worth of that. Yeah, you get about as much for posting and selling. I guess the Saxifrage is worth a little bit more. Posting and selling. Hi, sweetheart. Like classic Briarthorn and Peace Plume and Silverweed and stuff. That's okay. We can start questing as soon as we get to 60. And in the meantime, we'll get a head start in the professions. I'm gonna park her back in the embassy, get her a little bit arrested, and then begin to wrap up for the day. I had a nice comfy weekend morning stream. Using your other character's long boy. You hear this, cat? Are you trying to talk me into something? Want to say anything? It's cute. Thanks for extra long stream. Yeah, I guess it is quarter after. I will be back tomorrow with another weekend morning stream. Maybe we'll see how much of 59 to 70 we can do within a 3-hour stream. Wish me luck. Appreciate you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.